Where to start with a cast as dazzling as this one? Candy just lights the screen up in this role. It's just his demeanour alone which is striking, but his patterns of speech and his dialogue are wonderful. Yeah. And he is obviously the most comedic character in the film. Mm-hmm. Apart from Pesci's piece, of course.
Yeah, of
that
course.
wig may well have dialogue in this scene, it's so loud.
That's amazing.
With a pot of hot coffee and a few pack of Luckies, he lays down his rambling mess of a confession, which I don't think anybody can make any sense of at all. And I couldn't love this performance anymore. A crescendo into a swarm of paranoia, and Garrison is visibly frightened by what he's witnessing here.
Mm-hmm. And Pesci's line, which I think is probably one of the most famous and most quoted from the film, it's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.
Yeah,
it's just beautifully done.
He's just created this incredibly intricate maze. He guides you through it, and he leaves at the end just going, what do you think about all that then, eh?
All the Right Movies.
Hi everyone, welcome to All the Right Movies, a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma of a podcast on classic and hit films.
True enough.
That's us.
We're in over our heads this week as we tumble into a world of conspiracy theories, all centered around that dark day in Dallas, November 63. It is, of course, Oliver Stone's gargantuan JFK.
It is.
It is.
Woo!
Oof.
A long time coming.
Yep.
A long time to watch it.
Yes.
Before we get into the mystery, we're here to tell you about hundreds of podcasts that we've created over the years, and you can listen to every single one by becoming an ATRM patron.
You certainly can.
Mm-hmm.
Our podcast archive is full to the brim with big laughs and opinions on some of the greatest movies ever made, and there's even a few famous Westy theories thrown in for good measure.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Even I've forgotten about them, so check them out and let us know what they were.
The listeners haven't, Westy.
No, I haven't. I've got them all written down.
You can listen to our complete classic podcast archive by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and on Patreon, where you can also listen to our exclusive monthly shows, Double Feature, where we often talk about films that we wouldn't normally on this show, and The Watch List, which is our monthly movie review show.
Lovely. Lots of bang for your buck there.
Loads of great podcasts. And if that doesn't get you excited, you as crazy as your mama.
There it is. Now we've started. Here we go.
But if it does, then sign up at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and patreon.com/alltherightmovies.
Yes, please do, guys. Have a look and
Yes.
see what you think. Great
Yes,
stuff.
please. But back to the big enchilada. JFK. Matt,
Yeah.
you've been gagging to cover this film for some time.
Yes, I have.
Why is that?
25 years, I think. by my
25
count.
years.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, kudos to you, Luke. I'm sure Westy agrees, but I'm always in awe of the work that you and John put into the scripts for these.
Yes.
And I'm
Absolutely,
sure
yeah.
there was a lot to go through for this one. So
Yeah.
kudos to you.
I appreciate that.
And apologies. So
Yes, thanks, mate. You have made it mightily easy for us too. Yeah. Well, not mightily easy, but a lot easier than
a
it
lot
should
easier.
be.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, what a spider's web this was.
It takes three to tango, though.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. This one for me is one, since I started doing this, this has probably been in like the top 5 films I've wanted to cover, because this really is something else. And when I first watched it, I felt like I had to pick myself up off the floor afterwards. It was such an experience. I wanted to dive in straight again to watch it all over again.
Yeah.
And I think it has to be said, get it out the way with, it doesn't matter if you don't believe anything that Stone puts forward in this film. In fact, I'd recommend that you don't believe everything
Disclaimer.
here.
Big disclaimer. Lovely.
Yeah, big disclaimer. I mean, let's face it, at least about 70% of this is misrepresented, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it doesn't matter, because this film is about obsession. It's about Stone's obsession with this. It's about Garrison's obsession with this. And you end up obsessed with it by the end. By the end, it's like you're tearing your hair out going, why can't they see? Why can't they see? This is such bullshit. It's obvious something was up.
Yeah.
And even if you've got a problem with the history, which is totally fair enough.
Problem with the history. William Wallace could turn up at the end and it would make sense. Historical accuracy all the way.
It probably is the only one that beats Braveheart for that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But the thing is, you've just got to admire the sheer cinematic craft of this film. Like, how this film exists in the form that it does, I have no idea. But I'm just so glad that it does.
Absolutely. Westy, what about your thoughts?
I'll just ride on Matt's coattails there, to be perfectly fair. I mean, he said everything that we needed to say in the introduction to it. I mean, it's a hell of an achievement. It's an incredible film. There's so much in here. I know it's 3.5 hours, but there still feels like it's overflown, even in that runtime.
Yeah.
And it's just this really highly choreographed Rubik's Cube of American history. It's kind of the only way I can think about it. It's not one that I've seen a lot, but it's one I really, really appreciate. Probably more from the technical side, as we've said, because you cannot watch this and walk away knowing absolutely every fact. I mean, I think this is more about, what was said in the last Crusade episode. This is search for truth, or it's a search for fact. Yeah. And I think this is a lot of truth, but being put together next to facts that don't necessarily work, but a lot of truths that have been put together. So it's for you to unpick it, and I think it's very much Oliver Stone's film, and we will say that all the way through. This is him very heavy-handed, very punching you in the face for 3.5 hours. It's a steamroller of a film. It's like being in Vietnam with him. You can imagine what he was like. It's just an absolute onslaught of his beliefs, and it's slammed into you. And the other thing that's just incredible about this film is the ensemble cast. I mean, it's like The Longest Day. It's like The Bridge Too Far. It's just, and all these, Sutherland, Bacon, Lee Jones, Candy Oldman, all amazing. And they're going to Oliver Stone going, how many scenes have I got? 1. Brilliant, I'll do it. Do you want a career best in 1 scene? Yep. Okay, we'll do it. And that's what we get from this film. It's absolutely wonderful. If you're a fan of cinema, you're a fan of JFK. So let's start untangling this ball of lies.
I don't know if we can. But yeah, I mean, this is movie candy for me. This a conspiracy thriller based on a pivotal period in American history in the mold of the greats, like All the President's Men. Yeah. If anyone says that sentence to me, I'm just all in.
Oh yeah,
leaving my general reservations about runtime at the door.
The only time.
I've always been a fan of Oliver Stone's work, and this is surely his most ambitious. Tackling a highly emotive period using a dizzying array of footage, including one of the most talented ensemble casts ever assembled, like you said, Westy. And like you said, Martin plays fast and loose with the facts, and not much of the film is based in truth. It's more based on lie than truth. But it's one of the most exciting 3 hours you can spend watching any film. JFK was directed by Oliver Stone, co-written by Stone and Zachary Schuyler, and co-produced by Stone and A. Kitman Ho for Regency Enterprises, distributed by Warner Brothers to theaters on the 20th of December 1991. Largely filmed on location in New Orleans, Dallas, and Washington, D.C., it stars Kevin Costner in the lead as Jim Garrison, and he's supported by the cast of all casts, including Tommy Lee Jones, Gary Oldman, Joe Pesci, Sissy Spacek, Laurie Metcalf, Michael Rooker, John Candy, Walter Matthau, Jack Lemmon, Kevin Bacon, and many, many, many more.
Outrageous.
Is there anyone who isn't in this?
Unbelievable. Just us.
Just us three. That's it.
Okay, people, let's head on over to Dallas, where black is white and white is black. It's JFK.
Back and to the left.
The beginning.
In the beginning of JFK, we're introduced to our main characters, and the seed is set for the greatest conspiracy of them all. But first up, we're treated to a stirring montage of factual events leading to the fateful events of that day in Dallas. And what a start it is.
It's fantastic. It's a film in itself, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's like a documentary.
It is, yeah.
I find it disconcerting. I'm just going to start straight away by saying, if you Google JFK, the film, it says thriller/documentary on Google. It's not a documentary.
Definitely not a documentary.
Oh, Google's wrong. Who'd have thought?
They're in on it.
Yeah. But this film opens like a documentary. The epic sweep of John Williams' military march that howls through the troubled recent history of America, immediately giving a sense of responsibility of the film and a sense of honouring the fallen. I think it's a really smart move from Stone. He presents all the information about civil rights, the Cold War, the Bay of Pigs and Vietnam as factual through the use of archival footage. This all checks out.
Yep.
And to give it additional legitimacy, he's even drafted in Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen?
Well, he played Kennedy once.
Yes.
So that voice just provides such a sense of gravitas. This is really serious stuff, and it's factual. And that's an important footing to start on, I think, because if this is true, then everything else that we're going to be presented with for the next 3 hours will follow suit.
Yes, it must be fun.
Gotta be.
Maybe not. But this is also Stone setting out his conspiracy theory and placing fast and loose with the facts straight away with the introduction of the character of Rose Cherami being thrown out of the car. The real Cherami had a history of drug abuse and mental illness, who was found passed out by the side of the road in Louisiana on the 20th of November, 1963.
And Cherami made a claim of a plot to kill the president and later claimed she was pushed out of a car by Jack Ruby and Lee Harvey Oswald. However, there's no evidence that the two knew each other, and she was found dead on a highway 2 years later, the victim of a hit and run. But conspiracy theorists have since clouded her death with suspicion.
We're going to hear that a lot, and of course, there's no evidence.
We're going to hear a hell of a lot of that. So it's a double setup, hitting us with the facts, then sucker punching us with his fabrication. A master storyteller, a master manipulator, depending on your point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he then segues into the 22nd of November 63, where he combines archival footage with his reconstruction, black and white with colour images, all combining to disorientate, reflective of the whole case, what's real, what's fake. It's drama right from the word go. Facts are an afterthought.
Yeah.
But as an opening to a dramatic film, it's pretty much unrivaled.
So from there, we go straight to the news of the president's being shot. We get the introduction of Garrison just sitting in his office, that lovely photo of his wife behind him, beautifully lit, great.
Wonderful.
I love the framing of that. It's really nice. And he's like, oh, no. It's probably the worst delivery from Costner
It
in the
really
whole
is.
film.
Yeah.
It's like, get that out of there. Let's move on. Let's
Take
move on.
that again.
Yeah, exactly. Just one more time. I mean, you've set that up lovely. Just one more. But it's really good. Stands up. Napoleon's got a TV set. I was like, how historically inaccurate is this? I'm like, Napoleon didn't have a TV set. No, I'm just joking. That's the bar. So anyway, we're straight into the character there. We've got that TV voiceover over the top of it, setting the tone. We know where we are. And then we're in that bar, and there's that slow push in. The camera just starts moving. It's just got this incredible pace to it. It's an incredible emotion to it. And he's like, come on, Jack, pull through. There's still chance, God damn it. It's like, he's just immediately there. There's no like slow build up. It's just a high watermark straight away, and it just rides that all the way through the film. We get the newscaster crying, and everybody's upset about the news. So we know where we are. And the great thing about this is Stone starts the conflict of opinion straight away. Because we'll find out about his death. We'll have somebody on this side of the bar. We'll have Garrison who's gutted about it. And then we'll have somebody else just jumping straight up and applauding the guy for shooting him. So we've got this conflict of opinion straight away where people stand on Kennedy and we know that it's black and white. Literally, it's got this kind of real divide down the middle. And I think it's just a fantastic sequence and really beautifully done. And then when he sits back and just says, I'm ashamed of being an American today, you know where you are and you know what Stone's trying to say. I think it's just an incredible start of the film and really, really sets the tone. And more importantly, it sets the pace technically. It's really brilliant.
Yeah, packed with information as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about the first person who gets questioned, David Ferry, because
Yes.
this character, it makes me laugh because Stone takes some liberties with the truth along the way. But when it comes to Ferry, should we tone his looks down so he doesn't look ridiculous? No, not the slightest.
Tone him up, if anything.
Up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And you know, when you hear stories about actors in certain films, they'll hide themselves away from the rest of the cast for shock value, like Tom Noonan in Manhunter.
Yeah.
I wish Pesci had done that here. Can you imagine if that's Costner seen him for the first time in that wig and those eyebrows? Remember me, Mr. Gavson? Could not forget you at all, David. But I think Ferry, he's just the worst possible person to have involved in a conspiracy because he just completely crumbles under the slightest of questions here. He's the most nervous smoker I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
None of his story makes any kind of sense, particularly the goose hunting. You back any geese in this trip? I believe the boys got a couple. Boys told us they didn't get any. And then you can see he's drowning. He's completely drowning. And then when Garrison catches him out that he's been told they had no weapons in the car anyway, just that unbelievably awkward pause where he's tapping the cigarette out. Yes, I remember now. I got confused. We didn't have any. It's just the worst interrogation I've ever seen. And it is, you know, for a film not big on laughs, it is quite a comical scene, especially at the end.
Yeah.
I find his story simply not believable. Really? What part? He's ridiculous.
It starts off bad when he says, I hear you're a hell of a pilot.
Yeah.
Really?
He's sweating already. Really?
Yeah, he is, yeah. He's not even a pilot. Although Pesci is fantastic, there were three other actors approached to play David Ferry. It was James Woods, Willem Dafoe, and John Malkovich, who all turned it down.
Yeah, I think maybe Dafoe and Malkovich maybe could have played Oswald.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Jimmy Woods, being out of control.
Yeah.
Him in that wig, can't see it.
I'd
No,
love
I
that.
couldn't see. I don't think that would have happened, to be honest.
So with Ferry released, that seemingly brings an end to the investigation before it even starts.
Yeah. Cut and dried.
We cut to 3 years later and an innocuous conversation between Garrison and Senator Long on a plane, which sends everything spiraling out of control.
Yeah, it does.
Matt, it is over to you for this one.
Yeah, it is, because you know you've got a stacked cast when you can get Hollywood legend Walter Matthau in for one scene. in one scene only.
Unbelievable.
And have Jack Lemmon and don't put them in the same scene.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the only film they don't meet. I think it's the only film that's done that, which is
Yeah.
amazing. But that tells you how key the casting is, because there's so many pieces of information that Stone wants you to recognise this is important. And he does this by making sure everyone who says something important is memorable. And this is why he uses Matt Out. And he doesn't just use some jobbing actor that he could have done, because he wants to sort of lay in the seeds of everything going forward. This all comes down to Vietnam. They've bitten off more than they can chew. Lyndon Johnson can't be trusted. I love his description of being a polecat. And we need to see the moment where something sparks in Garrison's mind that the official story isn't correct. And that's what Send It Along does here. How unlikely the book depository is as a place for the killing. How Oswald is anything but a crack shot, which he's supposed to be able to pull this off. How difficult the shot is. And most importantly of all, it's the first mention of the magic bullet theory and how it zigzags everywhere. And I love Matt Howe's dialogue here. One pristine bullet, that dog don't hunt.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, that line. So
Great.
on the face of it, you think, oh, great, Matt Howe's turned up. But actually, this kickstarts the whole thing and establishes how shaky that official report is in just this little 2-minute scene.
Yeah.
And after this, Garrison, his head is filled with fanciful thoughts of conspiracy, and he begins to ask questions. And that's starting with Jack Martin, played by Jack Lemmon, whom he meets at the racetrack. And this, again, wonderful choice by Stone, who serves up probably the most beloved double act in movie history, Matt Dow and Lemmon, and separates them.
Yeah.
But I think this again shows how Stone positioned all of his pieces to legitimize his theories. Surely everyone thinks that Lemmon is one of the most trustworthy actors in movie history.
Yeah.
Whatever he's telling us must be true. And the scene picks up from a scene at the start where Guy Bannister smacks Martin about with his gun. He introduces the Cuban exiles and David Furry, and the thing starts to snowball and snowball. And this is such incredible visual storytelling from Stone. And he does it all the way through the film, overlaying a flashback with Bannister, Oswald, and Claire Bertrand with Jack's voiceover. If this was shot without those flashbacks, it just would have been too overwhelmingly dense to even penetrate.
Yeah. Definitely.
I love that there's a shot in this scene where an overwhelmingly suspicious fella in a hat and suit is lurking in the background, just looking over.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's listening, and it's never referred to again, but it just reinforces the sense of paranoia the film has.
Yeah, definitely.
Expertly. And then it's a quick move to meet up with Dean Andrews, the jive-ass turkey shade-wearing, sweating sleazeball.
Dean Andrews was a slimy accident-chasing lawyer who claimed to have been contacted by someone to represent Oswald when he was arrested, something which he later retracted.
Of course.
Obviously. Yep,
Yeah.
Of course.
And originally, Candy's scene was going to be removed from the final cut, which he was devastated about. But the scene was reinserted after Costner came to his defence, and Stone later wrote Candy a letter where he apologised for even considering taking the scene out.
I mean, it would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Because Candy just lights the screen up in this role.
Oh, he's brilliant.
I can't see why it was at the risk of being cut, because he really doesn't add anything to the film, apart from just a whole load of colour.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a real sense of danger, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that close-up where he's smoking.
Yeah.
Really paranoid. Really paranoid.
Yeah. I mean, it's just his demeanour alone which is striking, but his patterns of speech and his dialogue are wonderful. Why are you dancing on my head for, man? We've been thick as molasses pie since high school. Really, I mean, like a bullet to my head, you dig? He's great.
Yeah.
And there's an incredible match cut as he draws on his cigarette, and Stone cuts to a flashback of him drawing on a cigarette with Claire Bertrand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically wonderful, and great writing and performances as well.
Yeah.
And I think kind of an unusual choice considering his reputation for comedic roles. He was chosen by Stone because he looked just like Andrews.
He does. Looks a lot like him. Yeah.
And he is obviously the most comedic character in the film. Apart from Pesci's piece, of course.
Yeah, apart from those eyebrows.
Yeah, wonderful. His eyebrows, yeah. His out sweating was for real as well from Candy, wasn't it? 'Cause he was under he was so nervous about being in such an ensemble cast, yeah.
Yeah.
Checks out.
And then we'll go from there to the prison scene with O'Keefe, right?
Amazing.
I mean, has Kevin Bacon been better than this? The swagger when he first turns up and he just walks through that room, and the way the light's hitting him. He's in great neck. Obviously, I knew you were going to say that. He's absolutely fantastic. And his dialogue is just electric the way he delivers it. Like a snake sunning itself on the road. It's just like, it's got this real kind of wisp to it. And this confidence that he plays this character with is amazing. And then we'll start going into the flashbacks, and he's meeting Clay through Ferry, and he just walks up, and then when he walks past Oswald, just offers him the handshake, and he's like, what the f*** are you doing? Fuck you, motherfucker! It's absolutely amazing. Just up for a fight straight away.
Yeah.
Love that. And I love the way he kind of goes into the story. We're bringing the Cubans into the story now, so it opens another can of worms. He really kind of has Ferry here laying out the whole plot as we know it in that flashback. It's like, that can't be real because it's everything that we know about it. And you're just thinking, really? And you don't trust O'Keefe because you're thinking, well, that's what he's telling them. So how can he know that? He's just read that somewhere.
Yeah.
So then he's just kind of reiterating it back. So you're on the back foot. You don't trust anybody, and especially not O'Keefe. I think it's an incredible character. I mean, a completely fictional character in the world. Didn't exist at all. But I think the way that Stone puts so much into the character to make him untrustworthy but still very believable. And this invention is just so good because he could have his own film for me. He's absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. He's electric.
Then he goes into his own personal opinion about it. About Kennedy beating Nixon, and then then he starts pulling the race card out, which nobody's done yet. And it's like, is that a reason? Is that a catalyst? Is that what this is all about? And it just leaves it wide open. And you're just thinking, right, well, this is just really weird. It's really dirty and grimy where Garrison's got to go here. And this is what the rest of the film is about. This is how deep, dark, and grimy it's going to get. And that part in line, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Garrison. Not bad-looking at all. When I get out of here, I'll come pay you a visit. And you're left hanging going, this guy's horrible, awful, but I want to see more of him.
Yeah, he's really electric.
It's horrible, but amazingly done. Just the authenticity is fantastic for a completely fictional character. Let's put him somewhere really believable, and it works.
Yeah, it's a real Angola prison. Yeah, like you said, real guards, real prisoners.
Yeah.
And Stone loved it as a location. He said that he would love to shoot an entire film there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's incredible.
I can say that, yeah.
And yeah, Willie O'Keefe was a composite of a number of witnesses who claimed to have seen Oswald mixing with Ferry and Shaw. One of which was Perry Russo, one of the real Jim Garrison's witnesses.
Yeah.
Right.
More on that guy later.
Yes.
So Garrison is starting to build his case, but so far he's got a collection of shady characters, people who are afraid to talk, and people who talk too much.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. What a combo.
The director.
Coming off the back of an incredibly successful 80s with critical and commercial praise in abundance and a few Oscars to boot, Oliver Stone arguably reached a creative peak with JFK. So our thoughts on his work here as director. And I mentioned before that, the use of flashbacks makes a lot of things a lot clearer, but it's still a hell of a lot to chew on.
Yeah.
This many characters over this period of time, over this runtime with different theories and opinions and facts and overlapping timelines. How on earth are we going to make this all fit? But I think he does it in a few specific ways. Firstly, the scenes are just larger than life. It's not a whistle-stop tour of all the evidence available in the case. Stone takes his sweet, sweet time about these big scenes, most clocking in at 5 minutes plus. So we're able to kind of relax into the information being presented and can make visual attachments to the information and the characters because the scenes themselves are just so memorable. Then what he does is fill these pivotal character roles, who only really have one scene each, with some of the most memorable actors of the last 30 years. Ed Asner, Matthau, Lemon, Bacon, Sutherland, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And because we've got an emotional connection with these actors from previous roles, we're bringing all of that baggage to the film to make the scenes resonate and make them incredibly memorable.
And Stone said that once Costner was in place, Warner's didn't care about the rest of the cast. He said, I wanted to get faces that were recognisable and memorable in there because it's a complicated movie. And if you don't know who the name of the person is, you get confused. So I had to make the people as vivid as possible so that you would remember the storyline and the clues.
Yeah, that makes sense. Warner should care less about casting full stop going forward.
They should.
I think. I don't care who you get in, right? Just get everybody then.
Get everybody in.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, Stone took inspiration by casting of the epic war film The Longest Day, Westy, the one that you've just mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He said it was realistic, but it had a lot of stars. The supporting cast provides a map of American psyche, familiar, comfortable faces that walk you through a winding path in dark woods. So because of the importance of the material, a lot of the cast just show the support by waving their fees.
Wow.
And then, on top of that, you've got the characters who fill the support cast in multiple scenes that aren't that memorable. The likes of Michael Rooker, Laurie Metcalf, Wayne Knight. Great performers, but generally forgettable character actors, with all due respect.
Yes, of course, yeah.
These took into the background so the likes of Lemon really stand out.
Yeah.
And it's not just the directing of the scenes and the actors within, it's the location shooting which embed in your mind's eye. Mathau's on the plane, Lemon at the racetrack, Candy in the restaurant, Bacon in prison, X in Washington. He even makes Pesci's wig larger than life, so we make an emotional connection to it.
Yeah. It's an incredible kind of chess set, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. He just moves these pieces all around.
Yeah, and everything's got a kind of meaning and a way to move.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just an ingenious way of making one of the most complex stories ever told, pretty easy to follow. If I can do it, then you can do it.
Yeah.
All right, well, you're just not supposed to agree with me.
It's an incredible masterclass in direction and storytelling, how to work with actors, how to work with crew, and especially how to work with an editor who hasn't edited a feature film before and has done commercials.
Yes.
And he's just went, I want your style all over it. But you can see, Stone is going to give the nod on the final cut, but he just wants people to inject something that's not been seen before in a contemporary Hollywood film. You want something different. You want something electric, like I've said before, fast-paced, in your face. It's probably one of the best edited films I've seen. It's one of the best edited films that I can think of.
Westy, I've literally written those words down word for word in my notes.
Verbatim.
Yeah.
Lovely. Sorry. That's just because it's true, though, isn't it?
It is.
That's just because it's true. I mean, it's just so engaging. It's the pace of it. And the fact that he seems to have shot everything from every focal length. He's shot everything as a wide, everything's a mid, everything's a close-up. He's got all these choices. Like, this is every tool in the toolbox in 1991 to make a film. He's got the whole tool. It's B&Q. He's got the whole toolbox. None of it seems pretentious. It all seems incredibly necessary to tell the story the way he wants to tell the story. It's about the performance from the actors, but also about the performance of the camera and where that's going. It's always moving. You're always engaged. You're always thinking about it. And Stone said, I wanted to do the film on 2 or 3 levels. Sound and picture would take us back and would go from one flashback to another. And then the flashback would go inside another flashback. I wanted multiple layers because reading the Warren Commission report is like drowning. And he's absolutely right. And that's what he's done. And he's nailed it. It's unbelievable.
It's like Inception, isn't it?
It's
unbelievable.
For Inception, yeah. Although Inception is probably more factual.
More fact-based. Yeah, Oscar-winning editing by Joe Hudson and Pietro Scalia.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff.
Unbelievable work.
Yeah.
So there's one more note on the editing as well and how this was done technically. Because using 35mm, 16mm and 8mm, you kind of just cut all that together on the same machine. You just didn't have Avid or you didn't have their machines back in 91. So they put everything onto videotape and then he'd cut to the videotape and then they would match cut whatever he cut on the video to the actual footage, which is just absolutely incredible.
Unbelievable. And considering they had about 3 months to edit.
Yeah.
How have they done it?
I don't know. Just start hitting the buttons and go, that'll do. He's got all the shots, it doesn't really matter.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine what Oliver Stone did on day one of the shoot? Because I can't. Where do you start with this? The sheer amount of information and people and plot strands he's got to keep on top of. And not for 1 minute do I feel he's lost control of this film. Stone has maybe been a bit forgotten about these days in terms of his ability as a director, which I'll get into when we talk about the film's legacy, but this is undoubtedly his best film as a storyteller. And he's pulling together every single element of filmmaking in service of the story. As you have just said, the use of editing here is insanely complicated. Totally. The use of flashbacks is breathtaking. I mean, obviously the film is in colour, and then you have flashbacks in colour, but then you have flashbacks in black and white. And then you have flashbacks which are black and white, but also meant to look like stock footage from the time. Yeah, and then you have actual stock footage mixed in with it. It's like he's using the editing just to peel back all the layers of deception to finally see the truth underneath. And it just leaves me dizzy because you don't know where you are. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's a lie. And that's the point. And then the way he also mixes up the chronology, and then he will use flash forwards, like the flashback of interviewing Lee Bowers, who was the guy who was working high up with the view of the parking lot at the start.
Yeah.
And then you just get that brief image of him dead in a car with no explanation until much later on when you get told he died of a heart attack in his car.
Yes.
It's the same when Susie, Laurie Metcalf's character, she's outlining Oswald's background in the restaurant. That's intercut with the photo being put together of Oswald for Life magazine. But again,
incredible.
not explained to much further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, all that could just fall apart, but it doesn't. And after 3.5 hours, I get to the end, I think, where did the time go? Because this is the fastest 3.5 hours you'll ever see. It moves like a rocket. And Stone, he's just created this incredibly intricate maze that anyone else tried to do, it would collapse, but he guides you through it, and he leaves at the end just going, what do you think about all that then, eh?
I'm out of breath.
Yeah, I'm out of breath.
Yeah, into the camera. It's like, it's up to you now. Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
it is.
Exactly.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
There's all the pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work it out.
Yeah, 3.5 hours. I mean, those words and me do not mix well.
They don't at all. No.
But, I mean, I could watch 2 slasher films in that time.
At least.
Yeah, like you should know who the murderer is.
So in 1988, Oliver Stone was at the Latin American Film Festival in Havana. He picked up an award. The publisher of Jim Garrison's book, Ellen Ray, was also at the festival and handed Stone a copy of it. Stone read it while working on Born on the 4th of July. Loved it. He snapped up the rights to the book for $250,000 out of his own pocket. And he did that to stop speculation about projects that he was developing. He didn't want anybody peering into this story.
And then Stone had an initial meeting with Garrison where he put him through the ringer. Stone was impressed by his integrity, but drew the following conclusions from his meetings. Garrison made many mistakes. He trusted a lot of weirdos and followed a lot of fake leads, but he went out on a limb, way out.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the only one.
No, no.
While he was prepping for The Doors, Stone spoke to Warner's about possibly doing a Howard Hughes biography, a biopic, which we all know Scorsese did later with The Aviator. It's fantastic if you haven't seen that. But this hit a snag when they found out that Warren Beatty owned the rights to the story, so Stone hit them with his JFK pitch. Secondary. Oh, by the way, I've just got this.
Yeah, Warner's was the only studio that Stone went to with the idea. He was certain that he could have gotten a better deal elsewhere, but he didn't want a bidding war shedding light on the project.
Yeah.
He said, I knew the material was dangerous and I only wanted one entity to finance the whole thing.
He didn't want it leaked, did he? Paranoia all the way through.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Yeah.
Art imitating life.
However, Warners were only willing to stump up $20 million for the production, but Stone knew he needed more on account of the size of the screenplay. So he went to independent producer Onan Milchan, and he wanted a tentpole movie to launch his new company, Regency Enterprises, and so he put up the other $20 million Stone was looking for.
And a lot of that budget was spent on recreating the period in real locations. The recreation of 1963 Dealey Plaza was pricey, coming in at a cost of $4 million. He was filming there for 3 weeks, during which time the police closed streets and rerouted traffic. The murder of Oswald was shot in the same location where Ruby shot Oswald, actually. Right. And the same goes for the theatre where Oswald was arrested as well. Yeah. Stone gave the exterior of that theatre a 1963 style remodelling as well.
Right.
Which kept them open, didn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. The fun kind of kept going after that. Amazing.
That's right.
The film was largely shot on location, but there were a few sets built. One of the most extravagant was a replica of the Oval Office, which was reconstructed based on archival footage, and it's in the film for 8 seconds, and it cost $70,000, and it's in black and white.
Money's no object.
8 seconds.
Well, what do you do with that set afterwards? $70,000.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yep. Burn it.
Done.
Just use it for the West Wing or something. They must have used it for something, surely.
Well, they've got Sheen. They may as well use it for the West Wing.
Maybe he kept it for Nixon a few years later. When he made
maybe. Independence Day, maybe.
I wouldn't have thought so. To make the film fit the period as well, Stone drafted in scores of vintage cars for the scenes. DP Robert Richardson noted in his diary when filming, I don't know where these cars come from. They just make a call and then they appear.
Stone knows a man.
Yeah, he knows a guy who knows a guy.
He definitely does.
And for the style of the film, Stone took huge inspiration from the Costa Gavras political thriller Z, or Z, depending on where you're from. He said, you look at a crime, you accept the first version of it, the official version, then you look at it again.
Yeah, just like Rashomon.
Yes. Yeah. That was another big influence, wasn't it? On the script? And,
yeah. So was Mr. Smith Goes to Washington for the courtroom scenes.
You can see that, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not just because I'm a crazy fan, but I can also see the influence of Blowout.
Yes.
Majorly influenced by the Zapruder film.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. The paranoia. Absolutely.
Elements of the conversation in there as well.
Without doubt.
Yeah.
incredible array of influences.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Going to end this section on a quote from the big man himself, who said, "I think I was always controversial, provocative. It's in my nature to want to know the truth of a situation. And that's not to say that I'm right, but I have to ask questions. I never made a movie for money." He's got his integrity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
The cast.
Where to start with a cast as dazzling as this one? We've talked about some of the memorable cameos already. We'll talk about more as we go.
Yep.
But here we're talking about the characters that drive the narrative. TLJ as Clay Shaw and Gary Oldman as Lee Harvey Oswald are coming up. But first, it's the big man. You don't mess with Big Jim Garrison, Matt.
You certainly don't. I mean, Costner, huge fan anyway. He's one of my favourites. And his performance here is so key to the whole film because he makes everything believable. And Costner is representing Oliver Stone here. And Stone makes some wild accusations in this film. Lyndon Johnson was in on it.
Yeah.
But because they come out of the mouth of Costner, it gives him that sense of respectability. Because the thing you get from Costner above everything else is this sense of integrity. And that's what Costner does so well. And if you think, who else could have done this? Who else was the big name at the time? You know, someone like Mel Gibson, for example. But the thing is, Gibson, he'd give Garrison too much of an edge and he would make him seem insane. But Costner just makes him seem like a man driven to uncover the truth. But because it's that Costner integrity, you believe him.
American as apple pie, isn't he?
He really
that's
is.
it.
Yeah.
Apple pie, the flag, everything. You know, you think this man would never tell a lie. He'd never believe a lie.
Nope.
I believe everything he says. And the thing is, you're also looking at somebody who's got to shoulder this very long film and keep you on side, which he completely does. And obviously, we'll get to the end eventually. But just that final monologue, addressing the jury, laying out the whole conspiracy, the size of that is no small ask for an actor. Something the size of it, and he nails it. So it's incredibly smart casting, and I just don't think anyone else could have made it work the way Costner does.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most natural fitting roles for any actor in any film ever.
Yeah.
Costner is Mr. Wholesome. You need this kind of wholesome persona to navigate you through this maze and to be believable, take you by the hand. It's going to be all right.
It could have been very gung-ho as well, couldn't it? It could have been very much, wrap yourself in the flag. But I don't think there's a blind love for his country. I think there's an absolute affection for it, and that makes it totally different. He's emotional about it.
Yeah.
He's proud to be an American when things are right.
Yeah.
And he wants it to be right, and it wants to do it for the right reasons.
Here,
And it brings such a depth to it and a believability and a real grandeur. I think it's wonderful stuff. Wonderful casting.
incredible.
He's great.
Yeah, he is. He's magnificent. This is probably him at his zenith. It went downhill not long after this, didn't it?
Well, Robin Hood for me, but it's just close second.
7 times at the cinema, wasn't it?
13, mate.
Try again, mate.
Warner's pushed hard for Costner because of his movie star bankability. After he signed on for the film, he went on to clean up at the Oscars, with Dances with Wolves, obviously, which added an additional layer of movie stardom at JFK. Really elevated it.
Yeah, loads of cachet. Costner was not the only person in the frame for Garrison, of course. We love to hear about it. Stone offered the part to Harrison Ford and somebody that you just mentioned, Matt, Mel Gibson.
Lovely.
Yes.
Garrison Ford.
Garrison Ford. They both declined. Gibson and Stone sharing a particularly fraught dinner meeting, apparently.
All right.
But Costner eventually took the role for $7 million and a cut of the box office receipts. He was on Stone's radar after his performance in Elliot Ness and the Untouchables.
Yep.
Yes.
Coincidentally, though, on that film, he got the gig after it was turned down by none other than Harrison Ford and Mel Gibson.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And to prepare for the role, Costner met with fans of Garrison's work, but also with people he considered his enemies. And Stone said, I wanted Costner to get both sides, to witness the hatred and extremism that Jim engenders, and as an actor, to look into the eyes of his enemies and know what he was up against back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jim Garrison died not long after the film was released, but he does play a part in the film. In a flashback scene, he plays the head of the commission, Earl Warren.
Right.
And, we're not trying to give a history lesson here, but we have got some factoids, and there were a lot of outrageous revelations in the real Jim Garrison's investigation, including him giving key witness Perry Russo, who we mentioned earlier, who Willie O'Keefe is partly based on. He gave him questions under hypnosis and shots of sodium pentothal, informally known as the truth serum, to get the answers that he wanted about Clay Shaw.
Hypnosis. Doesn't show that.
No,
Leave that bit out.
Funny that.
I think why.
Yeah.
Omit that. Embellish that.
Definitely.
There were a lot of unsubstantiated theories in his argument, and it took the jury only 1 hour to acquit Clay Shaw,
Right.
which kind of shows you how paper thin his argument was, really.
Perry Russo's in the film, though, isn't he? He's the guy at the bar at the start applauding Kennedy being shot and saying, "Oh, what should be given a medal?"
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. He was an advisor on the film.
Yeah.
So one of the most perfect casting choices of the 90s, Costner was your go-to wholesome actor in the period, and this is one of his greatest roles.
Sure is.
Next up is the man Garrison tries to pin the entire case on. It is Tommy Lee Jones, who plays Clay Shaw. And I think this is a very tricky role for Tommy Lee Jones. His character exists largely in flashback, so he often isn't a present presence. He's part of, that big stretch, 45-minute courtroom stretch at the end, but he's not really present there either.
No.
And he's there to personify Garrison, Stone's, and the audience's anger and frustration at the whole thing. He's the poster boy for the assassination. That's what Stone makes him.
Well, obviously, he's two people, isn't he? He's two different sides to the coin.
Yes,
And I think the flashbacks, you see who he really is, and then in the present day, you don't see anything from him whatsoever. I think it's beautifully played, really,
it is
nicely done.
amazingly played. I think he has to be memorable and forgettable. Like you were saying, Westy, two sides of the coin. He has to be heinous and sympathetic, guilty as sin, and innocent as a choir boy.
See why he got the job as Two-Face now, can't you? Huge influence on Schumacher's one.
I'm born to play that part. Don't know how he manages it, but he manages to pull all of this off while remaining in the background. I think it's an incredible thing that he does, and it's largely down to his delivery and his physicality.
Yeah.
His actions are excusable to a degree. If you were being accused of something that you hadn't done, you would try to rubbish the credibility of your accuser in the press.
Yeah.
He's great in that scene when he's arrested. When the police come to his door, he's got his silk pajamas on, and the look on his face is that of like a rabbit caught in headlights.
Yeah.
In that one shot, he's able to convey without any words the distinct possibility that Garrison's just got it wrong all along and that this isn't the guy. And that maybe he's being persecuted because of his sexuality, which has led certain people to consider that this would make him capable of this overblown plot, outrageous stuff. And I really love the moment in the police station where he's asked if he goes by any aliases, and he reluctantly says, Clay Bertrand.
Yeah. Under his breath,
Yeah. And there's reporters baying for blood behind him, calling out his name. And we can see in that moment that regardless of the outcome of this investigation, I think his life will be changed forever, for the worse as well.
Yeah.
An impressively restrained performance from TLJ for me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's so it's so against type. I think that's why it's so incredible.
Because Lee Jones is like a tough guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's some scenes in this that I think, would Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
Is that Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
Just he has that reputation of just being a little bit of a hard ass, just very much down the line what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And then he meets Oliver Stone and this happens. Met his match, hasn't he?
Power struggle.
Yeah, and Lee Jones also prepared for his role by spending time with Garrison, along with acquaintances of Clay Shaw. He was in the frame to play the character that was ultimately cut from the shooting script, so Stone moved him into this role.
It doesn't seem like a natural fit, but he just fits naturally into it.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So although he'd been in movies for over 2 decades, JFK made TLJ a household name in the 90s, and without it, I'm certain that he wouldn't go on to get his Oscar for The Fugitive a couple of years later.
No. Yeah, good point.
That's Tommy Lee Jones. That's the one I know.
Yes, of course
Who
it
is
is.
this guy?
Yeah. Finally, what better way to fill the mythical shoes of one of recent history's great enigmas and give it to an Englishman with a relatively low-key career so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's another career catapulting role for Gary Oldman as Lee Harvey Oswald. Westy, it's over to you.
I mean, this performance is incredible. He is immersed in this role.
Disappears.
He just disappears completely. He is the enigma. He is the mystery of the film. Who is Lee Harvey Oswald? Is he a patsy? Is he, did he speak Russian? He's in the Marines, but he was, court-martialed twice. Who is this guy? What's his background? What's his depth? Who's his family? And I think the person who Lee Harvey Oswald is so integral to this whole thing politically, because if you can figure out him as a person, you can figure out if he did it or not. And I think that's what Oldman's really getting a hold of. He's incredible in this film, but he doesn't steal it. He doesn't stand out. He just seeps into it all. Yeah. When Ferry's talking about the whole, we've got to kill Kennedy and this is going to be the whole, but in front of the Cubans, this is how we're going to do it. This is the whole plan. And it just pushes in on Oldman. And he's just sitting there and you just see that he just completely disagrees with everything that's being said, but he's excited about it at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just glorious, an absolute joy to watch, absolute joy of a casting choice. He looks like him, he sounds like him, he acts like him. He's got so much study that he's put into this and nails it. And I know he went up to Oliver Stone and he still had things to say. He still had things to do. I think that finished in the whole kind of Oswald scenes that he had to do. And he said, I've got more to say as Harvey Oswald. Can you just point the camera at us? So Stone just humoured him and pointed the camera at him. And he apparently gave him a 16-minute monologue straight into the camera as Lee Harvey Oswald, just getting everything off his chest that he'd researched, everything that he wanted to do, everything he wanted to get down. So Oliver Stone said that exists somewhere, that 16 minutes of footage, which I'd kill to see, to be honest. That would be absolutely amazing. He said none of it went in the film, didn't need it. So it was a completely different kettle of fish.
Oh,
that's how much Oldman puts into this, and that's how much we get out of it. It's such an incredible performance.
can you imagine that and the monologue at the end and X's monologue in this film?
It could have been like, this could have predated the whole Marvel thing. Just have that as like a post-credits.
Yeah.
It's just shot on 16mm and it just kind
Sticking
of
around for that,
Yeah, and he's just like, just turns to the camera and goes for it. You're in there another 16 minutes.
Stone cast Oldman after seeing him in Sid and Nancy.
Yeah.
He said he saw the dark side of his range and wanted that for Oswald. Obviously, he brings that.
But before he was cast, Frank Whaley said that Stone had promised him the part of Oswald because they'd worked together on The Doors. And apparently he only found out he didn't get the part when he read about it in a free movie magazine when he went to the cinema.
That's
harsh.
Yeah, he said, I was just heartbroken because I was really anxious to play that role and to work with Oliver again. And Stone would later apologise to Whaley and cast him as Oswald impersonator in the film.
Yeah.
Like your quote from the top, Matt.
Yeah,
Yes,
he is great in that as well.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
2 years later, he did get to play Lee Harvey Oswald in the TV movie Fatal Deception, Mrs. Lee Harvey Oswald. I'm sure you're aware of it.
Yeah, got the poster.
That's on the next poll coming up.
Yes, it is. Double feature.
That sounds like a Mel Brooks film.
It does.
Yeah, and the script as well didn't include much about Lee Harvey Oswald at all. Instead, Oliver Stone gave Oldman a fistful of plane tickets and a contacts list and told him to go away and do his own research. I mean, how intricate Stone is and how on the ball he is.
Yeah.
This is the guy who apparently killed Kennedy.
Yeah, sloppy.
Go and sort it out. I'm rebuilding the Oval Office, man. I'm not bothered about characters.
Yeah, 70 grand, man. Peter Posniak plays Oswald's wife, Marina. She prepared for the role by moving in with the real Marina for a couple of months. That's too intrusive.
Hope she got permission to just turn up on the morning. All right, come in.
Oldman spent time with Marina as well, and he and Posniak improvised their dialogue together based on conversations with people who knew the real Oswald.
Right.
So not much to go on, really, for Gary Oldman.
Not at all, which is why he had like another 20 minutes to go off his chest.
Yeah. So 3 incredibly memorable performances from the 3 lead actors. Lee Jones and Oldman's characters nefariously crank away in the background, powering Garrison's good-willed crusade against what's right and what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The middle.
The second act sees Garrison and his cronies pulling together a convincing case as they notice holes the size of bullets in the Warren Report's findings. And Matt, you're starting us off in the place where it all started.
I certainly am. Because the build up to this, I love all these like shoe leather sequences where Garrison and his team are interviewing the eyewitnesses.
Love it.
Because there's so many of them, this isn't a case where there's maybe 1 or 2 people saw something suspicious. The witnesses are everywhere. You've got all the men who saw people running from the parking lot. You've got the, hey, Mr. President woman down on the street who heard the shot and saw the gun flash from the grassy knoll. You've got the woman who saw Jack Ruby looking suspicious in a truck, and then her statement was changed and signed by someone who wasn't her. And they're just all so respectable compared to Willie O'Keefe, who, just wouldn't stand up in court. And this is where everything starts to open up. This is Stone, one by one, just knocking down every single domino. And it's relentless because he's paving the way for his ultimate argument at the end where he's going to pay everything off. And then, speaking of payoffs, we've already had the scene with Senator Long where he's sown the seeds of doubt about the likelihood of Oswald being good enough to be the shooter.
Yeah.
And then you get the payoff to that with Garrison and Lou in the book depository going through all the reasons this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it's so different as something like All the President's Men, which this gets compared to a lot, obviously, because to follow that film, that conspiracy, I feel like I've got to have Wikipedia open to follow along with it. Like, who's Porter again? What did he do?
Yeah. P is
But
Porter.
here, everything is laid out so simply. This is Stone saying, look, see how obvious it is that something isn't right. Why didn't Oswald take the shot when Kennedy was coming straight down the street
Yes.
before he took the turn? When you see Lou try to mimic the shooting pattern and you see just how long it takes just to reload that rifle, and he says, and I'm not even aiming, and he can't even get the 3 shots off. The tree is important because it doesn't shed its leaves. He's shooting through the tree.
Yeah.
And you're just left by the end of the scene thinking, how has anyone swallowed the official story at this point? It's so compelling and it's so convincing.
That sequence is just so dense.
Yeah.
And after
So
that sequence,
satisfying though as well, isn't it?
it's magnificent.
Because he's showing you it one
Yeah,
after
exactly.
the other.
Yeah.
You're seeing it, you go, well, that must be fat, that must be fat.
Yeah.
And the way that he mixes that together, it's fantastic.
And after this sequence, there's a stretch at Garrison's home, which is absolutely spellbinding as Susie Cox convinces Garrison and everyone watching that Oswald was framed.
Yeah.
We've talked about the cast. Memorable performances in the film. They're all over the place. But Laurie Metcalf here as Susie is
Oh, it's
about
unbelievable.
as good as you can get in this film.
She's brilliant.
In this scene, she's not overshadowed by this daunting cast of legends.
No.
A TV stalwart of Roseanne
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah,
knocks
Roseanne,
it out
yeah.
of the park.
Yeah.
And Uncle Buck, obviously.
Yeah, Uncle Buck as well, yeah.
Uncle
Good
Buck,
Candy.
great.
It's her delivery and her conviction in what she's saying that makes this whole stretch so compelling.
Yeah, not just the actors as well, it's men that you're surrounded by.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not daunted by that at all.
Yeah.
She's such an appealing presence on screen. Another convincing character who presents a myriad of overlapping stories, but makes it very clear and very believable. This again is Stone making the seemingly overtly complex story just so easy to digest and break down, with incredible performances, wonderful dialogue, interwoven scenes of flashback involving Oswald being set up as a patsy and bringing the Cuban refugees and Guy Bannister back into the narrative.
Yeah.
The whole sequence is slick, exciting, scored with ferocity by John Williams, directed to within an inch of its life, and ends on a big revelation. Grab your hose and your socks and pull. Clay Bertrand is Clay Shaw.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
And it's even got time for a little gag. Garrison asks if anybody wants to quit, and everyone puts their hand up.
Everyone puts hands up, yeah.
So
Put them
good.
down.
Yeah, put them down. Yeah.
Great. Wayne Knight is also in this scene. He plays Numa Bertel, one of Garrison's foot soldiers. You'll likely know him as Dennis Nedry in Jurassic Park.
And in his audition, he affected a Georgian accent, which Stone loved. But after he met the real Bertel, who had a New Orleans accent, he changed it up. Stone hated that and had to be convinced by Knight to use an accurate accent. Apparently, it was a heated argument before it got resolved. And Knight said of Stone, "He's a rough trade, that man."
Yeah.
I can believe it. Oliver Stone.
Yeah, I
rough
totally
trade.
believe that.
Yeah. Talking about Clay, and this is the scene, Easter Sunday. He doesn't know it's a holiday. Oh, Jim.
He's in trouble.
He is in trouble. Going to Anton's with the kids like we do every year. It kind of gets a little bit like I've seen this a million times. This is always the case. It's like the guy who's so far into the case that he forgets about his family and the kids. But the way this is different, I mean, even the baby's acting is good in this bit. Because she goes, he says that we're not, he says, it's not important. Something along those lines. And just go, oh, neither are we. And then the baby goes, as if like reacting to the fact that they're not important. Every time she references the family, the baby cries. And then he's trying to argue like with the baby. It's just unbelievable. And he's like, I'll catch up with you later. And comes out. And then we'll bring Clay in. Just his demeanor is just slippery. Horrible. He's got one of them little biros that he smokes his tab through. Disgusting.
Yeah. He's got just, that all the way through, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's just the way that he just like...
Lynch.
It's like it's like an extension of his horrible personality. It's just absolutely horrible. But it's just the way he uses that for his character as well. And we get this great confidence from Garrison, and he knows he's got him licked here. Well, no, I've got you. And what about this gentleman? And what about this gentleman? What about Ferry? What about Oswald? What about O'Keefe? And when he mentions O'Keefe, if you watch this again, the editing here in the sound design is amazing. Because he mentions O'Keefe and you hear the doorbell. And we'll wait another 4 or 5 beats.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, where do I know him from? And then you get the flashback of the door opening.
Incredible.
It's so good. And just like so clever as like, he's remember it. You're in his brain. And Lee Jones is absolutely amazing. When he's been talking about the meeting and they talk about being sat at the table and he's on one side and he's on the other side. He's like, I wouldn't be shouting, so I would just so uncouth. And he goes, and that is the point of a long table.
Table.
It's just... And I can't believe when you get Ferry coming in, you get O'Keefe there, you get another gentleman, and it turns into like the strangest Barry Lyndon spoof. But
mixed with Goldfinger.
Mixed with Goldfinger. And apparently painting himself gold was Tommy Lee Jones' idea. He was like, up for it. I can do this. This is amazing. And it's just so weird. Pesci's so weird. And even O'Keefe, they've seen him as like a weird character. Even he's on the back foot thinking these guys are next level.
It's like Caligula or something, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And then when we cut back to Jim, it's starting to rain outside. He's starting to lose it. He's starting to get washed away.
Yeah.
All of the thought that he had, it's just starting to kind of manipulate his head. He's trying to think, well, can this guy get away with it? How am I supposed to trap him? And this is probably the only time, I think, in the film where Jim loses his cool and goes for him and just says, I was a patriot, and he can't crack him, but he knows he has cracked him, but can't prove it. Again, and it's all just wraps it up beautifully. And then you have Sissy Spacek just sitting waiting with 5 kids in a restaurant.
Yeah, nightmare.
I think she's just very forgiving when he comes back, and she's kind of like a phone call. You could have called ahead, or you could have let us know.
Yeah. Easter Sunday.
I would have taken his head off. That's ridiculous. Coming back that late, and then you get again the argument, and it's ramped up. And I think a lot of the Garrison home life I could maybe have done without.
I get it.
I don't know if that's... I understand, and I think Sissy Spacek is wonderful in it, but I honestly think it leaves me wanting a little bit. The kids are good, it's fine, but it doesn't really show his relationship with them. It comes around at the end, and it kind of resolves itself where, we don't get the result we want from the case, but we get the result we want for his family. I think that's what he's getting at, but it just falls a little bit flat for me. And I think this moment especially is the one where, she delivers that line where you care more about Kennedy than your own family. And he said it's just going to get worse. And you know where his stance is, and you know what he believes in. And I think that's just a little bit too heavy-handed for me. I think that is his job. And she should be supportive of his job and understand it a little bit more. It's like he's just walked in and said, I'm going to do this without discussing it. It's 3 years in the making. Like,
I know what you're saying. I'm not too bothered about it because it doesn't dwell too much. There's maybe 2 or 3 scenes of it.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
So things are moving in the political world, but Garrison's home life is getting increasingly strained.
Just need to see it once, though. That's enough.
Yeah, just the once.
Just the once.
Having had his feathers ruffled, Clayshaw leaks to the press, bringing Garrison's investigation into public consciousness, resulting in David Ferry becoming very jittery.
Very jittery.
And I couldn't love this performance anymore. Pesci chewing the scenery like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Channeling Tommy DeVito and Jimmy Conway from Goodfellas when he's kicking right off over the phone, spitting curse words and smacking the phone against the receiver.
Yeah.
And then he makes it into the office. And what follows is a fake hairpiece tour de force of nervous energy. With a pot
like a
of
duck's
hot...
arse, isn't it?
With a pot of hot coffee and a few pack of Luckies, he lays down his rambling mess of a confession, which I don't think anybody can make any sense of at all. Shaw's trying to stitch him up. He knew Oswald from back in the day. There's an incredible moment where there's a knock at the door and Ferry pretty much runs in the other direction, frantic. And the camera matches him. It spins around almost out of control toward the door. It's beautiful, out of control synchronicity. It's incredible.
Yeah, organised chaos, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
He's chaining cigarettes. He's going on to talk about Jack Ruby being a pimp, a bagman for the Dallas mob who used to run guns for Castro, suggesting that they check out Operation Mongoose, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
Government stuff, Yeah. But who the pulls the chain and who the knows?
Yeah.
Incredible. A crescendo into a swarm of paranoia, and Garrison is visibly frightened by what he's witnessing here. And this is where the syrup of figs comes into play. That wig may well have dialogue in this scene. It's so loud.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It is all over the place.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a stylistic choice by Stone and not a continuity error.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
It's definitely a choice.
It's a choice, all right.
It's a choice. It's a lovely piece.
It's a nice piece. It heightens Ferry's mania. I do find it interesting that there are absolutely no flashbacks in this scene. No cutaways, no change of film stock or camera. Pesci's so good here that Stone doesn't need to show who he's talking about.
No.
Unlike in the film, the real David Ferry never admitted to being mixed up in the assassination conspiracy.
And Pesci's line, which I think is probably one of the most famous and most quoted from the film, "It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma." Which is just beautifully done. Was inspired by a speech by Winston Churchill in 1939, where he said, "I cannot forecast to you the action of Russia. It is a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma."
Yeah, I mean, it's larger than life, that line, and it really fits this scene.
Yeah.
Because it's huge. But then after all this pandemonium, Ferry quietens down, and it's really heartbreaking to hear him break down about all he wanted to do was be a Catholic priest and to serve God.
Yeah.
How can he go from one end of the scale to the other is mesmerizing. And I think you've got to have that mania to make the emotion hit that much harder.
Yeah. And then we'll go from his anxiety, his panic, to Ferry being found dead, which is, after another great scene where the tension's ramped up when they're saying to Garrison, we need to protect them. This is where we are. This is the most believable angle that we've got for this whole thing. And then they find the place bugged. There's somebody inside. They don't know who it is. They don't have to be even more careful. But Garrison, again, just doesn't buy into this conspiracy around everything. He wants everything straight down the line and makes a joke. And you get that great background shot where it just kind of he turns around and Ferry's dead. He's like, all right, great.
Yeah.
But then there's that foreboding score, these close-ups of the apartment, and they're just beautifully framed. And then that Steadicam shot that goes through the whole apartment and just lands on Ferry dead. And you're shocked because the wig's not there, eyebrows aren't there, and he's just... That's a corpse, right? It's like, is Joe Pesci actually dead? Is this the length that Stone's gone to? And that's how it feels, and it's really...
I wouldn't put it past him.
I wouldn't put it past him either. Good grief. And what I get from this, it's just a really powerful scene and really well played because there's so many distractions here for Garrison. There's the bad news from Miami. There's Bill reading out the suicide notes. There's 2 different suicide notes that haven't been signed. What about this and what about this? And he's still just interested on, is this a suicide? What happened? Tell us about it. And he wants to go to the forensics and he wants to get the facts, and he's not bothered about all these the distractions that are going on around the whole scene. And it's brilliant. And then you get flashbacks of the actual assault, the black and whites that are just intercut with this, but you don't really know if that's the truth or not, or whether that's what Jim's imagining in his head because he wants that to be the truth. Was it natural causes? Was it suicide? Still not proven, really. They said Ferry died of natural causes, but that wasn't, again, followed up upon. And it's just a really good mix here where it's dragging you into a scene where classically in Hollywood, if there's a murder scene or if there's a death or if there's forensic teams in there, it's very slow moving through. You're finding things out. They're revealed very slowly to you. You get the facts. It's just, and this is like, no, in you go. There you are. There's this. Try and get your head around that. This is what Jim's thinking. Right, bang, we're out. Amazing. Again, Oliver Stone just firing cannons when he should be firing water pistols. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, really heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Rushing in 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like you said, Westy, Ferry did die just after news broke of Garrison's investigation into the press.
Yeah.
Prior to this, he did say that he feared he would be killed. But it was ruled that his death was suicide, something which the real Garrison agreed with. But then, on the contrary, also said that murder couldn't be ruled out.
Somebody make a decision on something, for God's sake.
The real Ferry claimed that he never knew Oswald. And this was the accepted view until a photo resurfaced in 1993 of him and Oswald in the same Civil Air Patrol unit in the 50s.
All right.
As his character mentions in the previous scene in this film, but that wasn't proven until 2 years after the release of the film.
Was Oswald painted gold?
Okay, Westy, we're just going to sit back and relax and enjoy Matt talking about a scene which I'm pretty sure you were born to talk about, Matt.
Yep, I want this to be 16 minutes in length exactly.
I'm going to get it to the second.
Yeah, of course you are.
I mean,
Matt X Bartley.
Well,
Big X.
Big X Bartley. Yeah, check that episode out. I mean, this scene's everyone's favourite scene, isn't it? Surely,
Yes. It's
Don Sutherland just turning up and stealing the entire film, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts off that beautiful framing of Garrison and the statue of Lincoln behind him, so we know this is a big deal. And then Sutherland turn up in that amazing raincoat and hat. Just looks incredible.
Yeah.
And this scene, I mean, it's something else entirely because for a start, it's pretty much nothing but exposition And in most films, exposition is always the rubbish part. It's the part you don't like. It's the part you criticize. In JFK, the exposition is the best thing.
It is, yeah.
Somehow, Stone makes it the most compelling and exciting part of the film. And it's so enthralling to see every fresh layer of evidence in conspiracy revealed for Garrison here. And by this point, he is absolutely all in. I mean, he does not question a single thing that X lays out to him, going all the way back to the beginnings of the Vietnam War and what they did in World War II and how this ties in. I mean, I've just got this image of Stone writing this scene at 4 a.m, fueled by caffeine and God knows what else, going, and do you know what else happened? This, and this, I'm putting this in there as well. All this goes in here. And this is a scene where Stone just commits to it and he doesn't care what anyone thinks. Like, I'm going to have this scene where someone explains to Garrison how deep this conspiracy goes, and it's going to be 60 minutes long. And no one's going to tell me otherwise. Just an absolute madman on top of his form. But it is hypnotic stuff watching Sutherland deliver this speech. I mean, he is magnificent in this.
Yeah, he's incredible.
You know, when he says, you're closer than you think. You practically like fall off your seat because you're just edging towards. Yeah. You say, like, tell me more.
What do you mean? You're whispering at the screen.
It's like Deep Throat in All the President's Men, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, it is, but turned up to 11.
Yeah.
And there's no action. It's just talking and exposition. And obviously, Sutherland deserves all the praise in the world for this, but just watch Costner, because you can see Garrison, he's like sinking. He's becoming more despondent as he realises the sheer vast force he's up against now.
Yeah.
And to hear X just demolish the case, you know, the background of Oswald that was ready to go very quickly. Why did they take the bubble top off the car? Why were all those building windows left open? Why weren't the men on the streets? Why did Washington telephones go out for an hour? It's like the book depository scene amped up to 11 of making it stunningly obvious that the whole thing was a setup. In that awesome way, he holds 3 fingers up. Why was Kennedy killed? Who benefited? Who had the power to cover it up? I've never seen someone do like 1, 2, 3 like that before.
Yeah.
And it makes it so memorable. But then it kind of makes me laugh because there's this pause and everything is sinking in for Garrison. And then X leans forward and he just goes, in 1961, what, there's more? Like, he's already been talking for 8 minutes and there's more to come. It goes on for another 8 minutes. Yeah. And then he just ends it. I just hope you get a break. And then walks off.
Oh,
you just say,
see ya.
Thanks. What do I do now? Just, it's amazing, this scene.
Yeah, Sutherland's delivery.
Yeah.
Oh, he's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredibly Moorish. It's a delicious performance. It's so good.
X is based on a couple of people. Firstly, Richard Case Nagel, a CIA agent who said that he knew Kennedy was going to be killed before it happened. But more specifically, X was based on a colonel in the Air Force and chief of staff under JFK, Leroy Fletcher Prouty. He later became critical of the CIA, claiming they were part of a secret world elite. You know, I mean, if he talked like Sutherland does in the film, I believe anything he says.
Absolutely.
Prouty acted as a technical advisor on the film, obviously.
Get his own crackpot, get him in there.
Stone, he sounds great. Stone said his first meeting with Prouty was one of the most extraordinary afternoons I've ever spent. Pretty much like in the movie, he just started to talk. Yes.
Singing like a canary.
Yeah. I mean, I can do that. I can talk about bullshit for 16 minutes and make it sound feasible. It's all I've done in the last 100 episodes.
And the conspiracy that X lays out alludes to a text published in 1967, which was called The Report from Iron Mountain. But its author, Leonard C. Lewin, revealed the whole thing was a hoax in 1972.
Another thing which just muddies the waters of credibility.
Doesn't it?
Originally, Stone had Marlon Brando in mind for the role of X.
Wow.
Something that would have surely torpedoed the film if his antics on Apocalypse 12 years earlier were any sign.
Yeah.
Costner was holding everything up for him to read off a board.
Yeah,
they would have to put it on the statue, wouldn't they? Just walking around the statue, just reading it top to bottom.
Stone said that Brando would have made the film 15 times longer.
He definitely would have. It would have been amazing, though.
But, I mean, Sutherland, incredible stuff.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And it brings us to our very first question from a patron of All the Right Movies. That is Phil Dolby.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, Phil.
If you are a Patreon supporter of us, you get the opportunity to ask us a question. Phil said, Donald Sutherland's Deep Throat blows the film wide open and is genuinely frightening.
Yeah.
If Donald Sutherland had not been capable, who would you have given an equally impactful performance in that role?
Right.
Now, two performers that would have worked out for me here.
Okay.
Firstly, and I'll be stunned if neither of you have chosen this guy.
Okay.
The legend that was and always will be Gene Hackman.
Nice.
A combination of his iconic voice and imposing stature would have just worked wonders for X and this whole speech, I think.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't switch Sutherland out,
Oh, no.
but if I had
way.
to, Hackman's waiting in the wings, just like LBJ. He's waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Going to be
That poor
sworn in.
cat.
Yeah. And secondly, I think James L. Jones would have fit the bill very nicely.
Nice, yeah.
Again, it's the voice which just would have provided an immediate sense of authority and trust in that character.
Yeah.
You know, there are more, but I don't want to step on any toes. So, Westy, 5 picks from you. Go.
4.
4, yeah.
Just going off the opening voiceover, I think it would have been good to have Martin Sheen in there.
Brilliant.
Just to match the voiceover. Do you think it's that him talking at the start, just another layer?
Love that. Yeah, good.
I think, and I was just thinking around 91, like who was good in 91, who was kicking it, who was giving it, some really good performances. And I would have Nick Nolte probably in there.
Oh,
He was nominated for Prince of Tides, right, in 91, I think.
Back then, yeah.
Excellent at that point. He was superb, and I think he would have really brought some weight to that.
Love him.
Scott Glenn, I think, at that time.
Yeah, good.
Nice.
Would have been really good because he's got that look. And you kind of know him, but don't know where from.
Yeah.
And he was amazing in Backdraft in 91. I think he was fantastic in that film. And one that I would kind of maybe have a little bit of a, just for my personal taste.
Okay.
Sean Connery.
All right.
Just so we can recreate that scene in The Untouchables where he talks to him in the church.
All right,
I think that would be absolutely wonderful. But Connery not changing his accent. Yes, don't know
Just
where
Scottish.
he's from. Yeah. He's like, is he Scottish? Don't know. It's X. It'd be amazing. And in 1961.
You're close.
Yeah. You don't know how close. Fucking brilliant, man. But yeah, that's my 4.
Excellent. And Matt, have we stepped on your toes at all?
Amazingly, not at all. We've all gone very different here.
Stunned.
2 came to mind very quickly, but I think they're just 2 on the nose for reasons you'll understand when I say them. Hal Holbrook would have been great, but again, too close to all presence, man. And for the same reasons, he would have been amazing, but probably wouldn't have worked. Jason Robards, he'd have been incredible. So the one I would have gone for, who wouldn't be too on the nose, and I think just has that real kind of ability Sutherland has to dissipate in the background a bit, Robert Duvall, I think, would have been excellent.
Oh, nice.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Great Nick. Maybe
Great
not
Nick.
at this point, but...
Well, we'll see. Get him working out again. Kilgore just plays the same part. Imagine a Kilgore giving it this kind of dialogue, though, in that style. Really bombastic. In 1961, you know that smell, the gasoline smell. In 1961,
The phones were out.
Oh, excellent. No crossover. And a great question. Thank you very much, Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
yes, thank you, Phil. That was good fun.
And that brings to an end an incredible stretch in the middle of the film, full of larger-than-life characters with even taller tales to tell.
Yep, still uphill.
The crew.
One of the most talented crews of the decade, full of legendary figures. John Williams' score and Robert Richardson's visuals are coming up, but first it's the screenplay by Oliver Stone and Zachary Schuyler.
It is.
Yes, it is indeed.
And part of Stone's motivation for making JFK was in response to the Warren report, much like Jim Garrison, I guess. This was a commission set up to establish the facts of Kennedy's assassination, headed up by Chief Justice of the US, Earl Warren.
And the findings of the report were made public 10 months later, September 1964, concluding that Oswald acted as a lone gunman and took Jack Ruby's explanation that he executed Oswald, so the Kennedy family didn't have to go through the pain of a trial at face value. There were no other parties connected to these 2 murders at all.
If you believe that, I'll tell you another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oliver Stone's suspicions grew from the 70s onwards into the 80s in the wake of lies the US government told regarding Vietnam, Watergate, Iran-Contra, that kind of thing. It's widely documented that he served in Vietnam, and revelations about the motivations for the war switched his right-leaning views swiftly to the left. If the government can lie about that, then they can lie about anything.
Yeah.
And Stone said, I believe the Warren Commission report is a great myth, and in order to fight a myth, maybe you have to create another one, a counter myth.
Just lies then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a flashback within a flashback.
Yeah.
Just say what you want about it. They lied, so I can.
Yep.
So, Matt, how do you feel about Stone and Schuyler's writing on JFK?
I think thorough is the word here I would use.
Yes.
Stone's a clever man. He knows he's going to get a lot of heat for going where this film goes. So this is where he has to cover his own back with the writing, because he wants you to believe what he believes.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to do that is to stuff the film with as much research as he possibly can do. I mean, the amount of names introduced to you, the amount of dates, the amount of sheer information. At this point, Oswald did this, he went here, then he met this guy, then he was back in Cuba, and then the next day Clay Shaw turned up. And it's all got to link together. It's a constant barrage of facts to keep track of. And it's kind of miraculous that you do keep track of it. And the only way you do is because of how Stone and Schuyler lay it out for you. Like in their heads, they see all these connections and they have the ability to put them down on the page and draw them all together and interweave every single name. Oswald, Jack Ruby, Clay Shaw, the Cubans, the generals, Garrison implicating Lyndon Johnson in the murder. And it gets to the point where you go, well, I'm convinced. Like, everything you've
without
said
doubt.
makes sense because you have done your research without a shadow of a doubt,
Yes.
obviously.
You know more than me on this subject.
Yeah.
The thing is, this could have easily been a documentary, but he wants to dramatise it. And the best way he can dramatise it is essentially to make it a whodunit. And his ability to turn all these very dry facts and figures and names on the page in research and turn those into the most compelling whodunit imaginable is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, he turns it into Chinatown somehow.
He
Yes.
does- yeah, it's very Chinatown. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Westy, your thoughts on the writing?
Yeah, I mean, it must have been huge, to get this delivered and read through it. But for the cast that they assembled, it must have been incredible on the page because people have just went, well, I don't even want paying for this. I'll do it. I've got one scene. I don't care.
Yeah.
So it must have been really compelling from the get-go. And I think that's all down to Stone's ambition and his beliefs and how, he is, if he believes in something, that is exactly what you're going to see. It doesn't waver at all. And I think that would have started with the first page of the screenplay. He knows exactly where he's going with it. He knows exactly the story that he wants to tell. He knows exactly the lies he wants to weave. And he's got no shame in doing it because he feels like he's been lied to. And this whole film feels like a massive finger up.
It's a response to that, isn't it?
It is an absolute response to it. So if you can spin a web of lies, I'm going to spin one as well, but it's going to be 100 times more believable and 100 times more entertaining than what you did.
Yes.
The self-belief he's got in his ability as a director, as a writer, as a storyteller, and as somebody who can really put all of these pieces together, not only make you think, not only make you feel, but also make you incredibly entertained for 3.5 hours. And it is an incredible feat, the whole thing, but I think it all just ties together to Stone having this belief, having this vision, and going for it 100%.
Yeah. Pure conviction.
Yeah.
He's obviously a nut on the subject of JFK and no doubt has read countless books, pored over countless conspiracy theories, and based on his public position, I mean, he was in a unique position himself to be able to add to the conspiracy theories with one of his own. Usually I don't really care for wild swings where there is revisionism of the truth to make way for a juicy narrative. But, there were conspiracy theories abound well before this film.
Yeah.
And this just taps into the thirst for more. It presents its information earnestly and concisely and presents what it thinks is the truth or partial truth or wish fulfillment or whatever it is. It's all part of the big JFK machine that keeps on churning out theory after theory after theory throughout the years. And it's just such a tantalizing story. And when people don't have the facts, they make shit up. It's human nature.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Almost everything that Stone presents has at least an element of untruth. Now, that's usually has at least an element of truth, but nope.
Yeah. Nope. Other way around.
But when you don't have all the facts, why let the truth get in the way of a good story?
Yeah.
Journalist Vincent Bugliosi said in his book, Reclaiming History, the Assassination of President John F. Kennedy, said that there were 32 untruths in this film. He said that the film was as a one continuous lie in which Stone couldn't find any level of deception and invention beyond which he was unwilling to go to.
Right.
Basically.
32's not that bad.
It's
It's not really.
I don't think it's that bad.
wow, when you're telling 32 lies and that's not bad.
No, and in this
got
film,
you.
I thought it would be like 132 or something.
For example, Matt, you mentioned it earlier, there's a large chunk of the film devoted to the notion that the time-life photo of Oswald holding the gun was doctored It's a theory which has been debunked or at least debated. The film ties you up in knots. A lot of people, myself included, would have taken this film at face value, believing what is presented. So what do you believe? And that's the beauty of the storytelling here. Even if you're questioning the film's accuracy, at least you're questioning something which you'll naturally take away and question other aspects of the investigation.
Yeah, I mean, in 91 as well, you had the Encyclopedia Britannica to come home to, and that was about it. You didn't have Google, you didn't have the internet, you couldn't dive into it. It would be like, you left the cinema going, well, that's the facts then.
And what he does is stuff the film full of detail. I don't think we're supposed to remember all of it. How could you? But what he does is imprint on us an overwhelming sense of emotion that it's easy to be taken along for the ride. I think it's incredibly ballsy for anyone to make a film about this subject that's been taken to the hearts of the collective American public. It's probably the most infamous moment in the century, and Stone just smashes in there with this wild ride of conspiracy. And he was our age at the time. Would you fancy taking this on now?
God.
It's hard enough doing this. Never mind making it.
It is an amalgam of mistruths, of untruths, of composite characters and pure conjecture. Stone threw everything and the kitchen sink into the accusations raised in the film. The CIA, the FBI, the Mafia, US military, Secret Service, and the waiting in the wings Vice President, LBJ, all in the firing line. Although Stone later claimed that the film never accuses Lyndon B. Johnson. Whatever.
I mean, it does.
I think
definitely
it does.
It really does.
Yeah, and I do just love the sheer guts to put it all on screen. If you're not going to give us the truth, then I'm just going to make things very difficult for you. You want conspiracy theories? Well, stitch this.
Yeah, here's 32.
Yeah. But he never purported that the film was based on truth. Months before it came out, he told New York Times, I've taken dramatic license. It's not a true story per se. It is not the Jim Garrison story. It's a film called JFK. It explores all the possible scenarios of why Kennedy was killed, who killed him, and why. So he's up front with it. He didn't pull any punches.
Exactly.
And the film is based on two texts, most notably the 1988 book on The Trail of the Assassins by Jim Garrison, which detailed his investigation into the theory that New Orleans entrepreneur Clay Shaw was involved in a plot to kill JFK, and Shaw had worked with the CIA, who wanted to take Kennedy out because of his alleged plans to pull out of Vietnam and change American foreign policy.
And it was also based on Jim Marr's book, Crossfire, The Plot That Killed Kennedy, which was a compilation of, a lot of crackpot theories, conspiracy theories, one of which involved Hitman and Woody Harrelson's father, Charles Harrison, being implicated in the conspiracy.
Yeah. He was meant to be one of the tramps, wasn't he? The three tramps that were picked up.
Yeah, on the whole,
He was identified, yeah.
And that's been substantiated using forensic photographic evidence.
Wow.
But, from which point of view, who knows?
Yeah.
Despite these two sources, Stone tasked a recent Yale graduate, Jane Rusconi, to lead a team of researchers to gather all available information on the assassination while he was putting the finishing touches to Born on the 4th of July. I mean, he's reading books while he's making Born on the 4th of July, put finishing touches to this. I mean, Born on the 4th of July is a pretty intense film as well.
And the doors in between that.
And the doors in between, yeah. Rusconi and her team went through around 200 books in total for the research.
Yeah, and the other person who's got the co-write, Zachary Schuyler, he helped the real Jim Garrison write his book. He was instrumental in transforming it from a scholarly text to a detective story.
Right.
And he also edited Mars's book, so Stone snapped him up to write the first draft.
Yeah, I think he would have maybe just been like, yeah, Oliver, you want to put the kitchen sink in? Can we make it maybe a smaller sink?
Nah.
We'll keep it in there. But
it's massive.
Just a little bit smaller, not the bath. Stone asked Schuyler to distill the two source novels and Rusconi's research down to a great detective story. Schuyler did his own research over a 12-month period, and his initial draft was 550 pages, a behemoth which Stone beat into shape and got down to a more palatable 156 pages.
Wow, 500. That's Dallas.
Yeah, the whole season. Yeah,
all of it. Seasons.
Yeah, that's The Wire, 1 to 5.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, like screenplay logistics, 1 page is 1 minute screen time. Right?
Yeah.
So 550 minutes. It's a long time. I mean, I would have watched it.
But you know how I never get this. You know how these things work. If you're presenting me with a 550 page screenplay, then I'm going to throw it out because that's not a film.
It's a phone book.
Don't get it,
it
it is.
Yeah.
So during rewrites, Stone saw the film as playing out like a great detective story and said that while it was being written, it had fallen for what he called DNA threads, the New Orleans DA investigation, the day of the shooting, Oswald on the day and his past activities, and the character of X.
Yeah, I love that X gets his own plot line.
Oh, of course he does. Yeah.
Schuyler wrote the majority of the Garrison story while Stone took the Oswald, Dealey Plaza and X plot lines.
Right.
And because of the complexities of the screenplay, Stone said that he simplified it to get Warners to sign on the dotted line, but then ended up filming the complex version.
Obviously.
Sneaky fucker.
Yeah, Warner's has 45 pages, which is the last 45 minutes of the film.
And with that, we have a very pointed question from a Patreon supporter of All the Right Movies, Andrea Bastian. How are you doing, Andrea?
Hello, Andrea.
Hello, Andrea.
Andrea says, I have to ask, who do you guys think killed Kennedy?
You didn't have to ask, Andrea.
Oof.
Cat amongst the pigeons here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Andrea wants the name of the big enchilada, and we have just the man. This one's for you, Westy. This is your baby.
Right. Well, I mean, who could it be? Cubans, Russians, CIA, Lyndon Johnson. It could be anybody. And I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's so believable for it to be anybody that the finger's pointed to. And I think that's what Stone's getting at. Is like they've weaved all of these different webs to deceive the public. And it's about manipulation. The conspiracy in itself is probably more revealing or more exciting than knowing the truth. And I don't actually think people want to know the truth. I think people like chasing things and they like the excitement of the chase. And I think that's what it was all about. But having said that, I do believe...
I love it, yes. Just cut all of that out.
No, I don't call all that out because, I'm not, talking about... But I do love conspiracy theories. I am a big, big fan of conspiracy theories. I do think he angered the military-industrial establishment with his determination to withdraw from Vietnam, and he had threatened to break the CIA, and I quote, into 1,000 pieces after the Bay of Pigs fiasco. So I think this was down to money. I think it was down to being involved in Vietnam. I think it was down to a lot of money for the defense sector and a lot of worry from the CIA thinking he's going to disband that. And that was in trouble as well. So I think it was members of the CIA who actually took it out, but it was down to government. It was a coup, wasn't it? So I think they wanted them out of office. They wanted somebody else in. They wanted to go into Vietnam. They wanted to create a lot of money. So they just wiped them out and got them out of the picture. That's what I think.
I love it. A coup d'etat.
A coup d'etat.
Wonderful.
A coup, if you will. But that's what I think.
Excellent. This film and this podcast has allowed me to say coup d'etat without sounding like a pretentious prick. Although I obviously do. It was a coup d'etat.
A coup d'etat.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Matt, big enchilada, who do you think?
Well, I agree with Westy in the fact that you almost don't want to know the answer. I think if there was a definitive answer at the end of this film, I think you'd be a bit disappointed.
It would be disappointing.
You'd be like, oh, it was them.
Is that it?
All along.
The truth would just be too soft and subtle.
It would.
That,
You
like,
want...
this is fanciful. We want like outrageous theories.
Yeah, you want the frustration of not someone getting like pointing the finger. I'm going, definitely them. For me, though, because I got in this film like quite young, 18, 19, I did like read a few books on it, and I've tried to stick to books that weren't like sensationalistic about it. Like, didn't believe everything. I think the most convincing one I've read is that Oswald was the shooter, but he was backed by the Cubans. I think there are a lot of established links between Oswald and Cuba, pro-Castro, because he tried to invade on the Bay of Pigs, and it was revenge for that. I think where the CIA come into it is kind of what Wesley's getting at, is that they maybe thought that this was going to happen, and they just turned a blind eye to it.
Love it.
That's what I think.
And the beauty of all of this is that because the nature of the wild schools of thought, that anything that is proved as fact is brought into question. And any conspiracy theory, no matter how insane, can be considered truth. It's about who you speak to, who you buy into, your political leanings, what you're inclined to believe.
Yeah.
I think you start with a baseline of belief based on your general makeup, and whatever piece of evidence taps into that, you'll believe.
Yeah.
And what doesn't,
fits in. Yeah.
you'll just disregard. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're pushing me, Andrea, I'll go with a combination of candidates. I'm gonna throw him under the bus. LBJ. I think he had a hand in it.
Okay.
I think being second in the command at the time, waiting in the wings to take over immediately. The mob maybe had something to do with it because they were part of the CIA plot to overthrow Castro. The CIA at the time were headed up by Alan Dulles, who was instrumental in the Bay of Pigs fiasco, so much so that Kennedy fired him in 1961.
Yes, he did.
And then Dulles was later part of the Warren Commission that Stone says suppressed CIA involvement in the case.
Yeah.
Kennedy wanted out of Vietnam, like you said, Westy, which would have lost a lot of powerful people a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's Alan Dulles, the mob, and LBJ.
Everyone then.
Everyone then.
Everyone.
But it couldn't possibly have been Oswald acting alone.
I
The
don't think
evidence
so,
no.
of the back and to the left,
Yeah.
it's just too compelling.
It is.
Yeah.
Or it probably was just Oswald who acted as the lone gunman. Who knows?
I don't think so. I think that's been fairly debunked, hasn't it?
Officially not.
Well, officially not. No.
outrageous.
Yeah, it is outrageous. Let's not forget as well that Ace Ventura did confess, so there is that.
We have that, yeah. If nothing else, we have that.
If nothing else, it was him.
Great. Thank you very much for the question, Andrea.
Yes, thank you, Andrea.
Thanks, Andrea.
Let us know what your theories are.
Yeah, please do.
So once again, huge props to Oliver Stone and Zachary Schuyler for being able to make anything even remotely cohesive out of this story that always threatens to spiral out of control. A magnificent piece of writing.
Amazing to get it down to 156 pages, thank God.
156 pages. Still over 3 hours.
Still over 3 hours. It's still a bit much.
Need I say any more than the music for JFK was composed by one of the biggest movie legends in history, John Williams.
Was.
Of course.
That should speak for itself.
It does. Massively.
I am going to over-egg this particular pudding.
Lovely.
Okay.
Love a bit of dairy. Let's do it.
He takes the source material, makes it better with his music, plain and simple. Does it all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even just in that opening title credits scene, the music's swift change of pace from a mournful epic at the start to a jittery paranoid rumble to a frenzied military march, all heightening the image on screen. It tells a story without the need for visuals. If you listen to it in isolation, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Williams, at the time, was already committed to working on Spielberg's Hook, which came out around about the same time as JFK.
Yeah.
And as such, he didn't have the required time to pull out a conventional score, but was compelled to take the gig as, in his own words, this is a very resonant subject for people of my generation, and that's why I welcome the opportunity to participate in this film.
Yeah. Very similar films then.
Yeah, Hook, JFK.
Oliver, I've got some stuff left over from Hook. I'll just whack it into JFK.
Fine.
Yeah, he would have been amazing as well, to be fair.
And I think it does show, though, unusually for a Williams score, I can hear where his influences are coming from. I might be off the mark, but usually his music's one of a kind, uniquely Williams.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it checks out that he didn't have much time. Tracks like, and if you look at the track list and and play them, Spotify or whatever you have, tracks like Garrison's Obsession has a rich vein of paranoia running through it, like all the best conspiracy thrillers have, like David Shire's work on All the President's Men.
Mm-hmm.
The track The Conspirators feels like it owes a hell of a lot to Morricone's work on The Untouchables,
Yeah, no, the
combined with Bernard Herrmann.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not knocking the music. It's incredible stuff. No. But maybe you can tell that he had his hands full elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because Hook was a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
Westy, your thoughts on John Williams' music?
I mean, he always brings it, doesn't he? He always brings the source. It's very unlike Williams, and I see what you're saying, Luke, in that we don't have a consistent bombastic score for JFK. There's no theme. There kind of is at the start, I guess, but there's no repetitive. That's the JFK.
There's no motif.
No, and that's what he's known for. I mean, the motifs that he writes are all just so memorable, but you don't really remember much of the music from JFK when you've left it. It's not there. It doesn't stick in your head. I don't think that's what he wants to do. I think what he wants to do is he wants to play with the themes and the themes that are in the film, and he injects so much. It shows his range here in a really short space of time. There's little Cuban rhythms in there. There's military stabs. There's snare drums at the start. Then there's these big, French horns and all that kind of work. Mm-hmm. But there's not a solid theme, like I said. So it is a little bit different for him. And I always forget that he did Born on the 4th of July as well. And I think this might have been a lot carried over from that. I think he's probably read the screenplay and went, this is dense enough. All I need to do is add a couple more thin layers. It's like tracing paper, his music. It just sits over the scenes. It doesn't transform them. It just elevates them slightly.
It does.
And that's the genius of Williams. He knows when to dive in and he knows when to sit back. And this is one of the films that he's definitely evident. It's definitely him and he's there. But he has sat back a little bit on this one. Not a bad thing. Still wonderful, but not what I'm going to buy on vinyl and play. This is not top 5.
No, it hasn't got that unique Williams identity, I don't think.
It's still wonderfully accomplished, but...
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking it.
Anyone else, you would think that's the best work they've ever done. John Williams, nah, it's not as good.
Matt, what about you? Do you concur?
I do concur. I always forget it's a John Williams score because it doesn't really sound like one. And I think part of the reason is Stone doesn't want Williams to do the job that he does for Spielberg. With Spielberg, it's about the big themes, the ones that stick in your head and you can whistle for days afterwards. The only one Williams does like that here is out here at the very end, which is that kind of upbeat tune as Garrison walks away. Yeah. And I think that's there because Stone obviously knows Garrison's going to lose the case, but he wants to reassure the audience that he's still right and he's not defeated. And that's what that tune at the end gives him. Yeah. But other than that, I think instead of themes, I think he's asking Williams for tone and for atmosphere, and that's what Williams delivers. Yeah. There is this really oppressive, threatening feel to the music, lots of military snare drums. That gives the soundtrack the feel of someone being marched to the death almost, to an execution squad, that military vibe it has. And that's obviously what Stone wants. So totally agree. It's not the catchiest soundtrack Williams has ever composed, but I think it encompasses everything Stone wants on screen.
Oh, yeah, definitely does. Yeah, I think that's a really good point about he doesn't want him to Spielberg this music.
Yeah.
And Williams put together 6 pieces of music before seeing the film. He then went to Dallas to join production of the film and viewed about an hour's worth of dailies. He recorded some more music, and Stone actually edited some of the film to match that, the opposite to how it's usually done.
Considering the dense nature of this film, I don't know how he's done that.
No.
I really don't. That's incredible.
Yeah. And the editing work as well, to actually cut it to a track.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's insane.
Like to match the timing and the tone and the narrative flow of it.
Maybe it is Williams' best work.
Maybe.
Maybe it is, yeah.
When you put it like that.
Maybe it's his most understated, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. So probably not considered among his best work, but Williams certainly enhances JFK with his wide-ranging musical style.
Yeah.
Finally, one of the greatest feats of filmmaking by DP Robert Richardson, who used a mind-boggling array of footage, including 35mm, 16mm, Super 8, 8mm, video, still photos, colour, black and white. Your thoughts on his work here, Westy?
It's mind-bogglingly good.
It's unbelievable.
In that it seems like this has got about 5 DPs on it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's one guy at all. And we said very similar with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which we've just done. Mm-hmm. And he was DP on that, and it felt he's just covering so much ground and shooting in so many different ways and having this just an incredible ability that he's got to turn his hand to everything and make it perfect. Like, it makes me sick sometimes. It's just so beautifully done, and he knows exactly what he's doing. But he owes a lot to Oliver Stone. His first big gig was Salvador, right? Mm-hmm. Then he went on to do Platoon, was nominated for that, Born on the 4th of July, obviously did JFK, and then moved on to do stuff with Scorsese, and then he's moved on to do stuff with Tarantino. Yeah. So he owes a lot to Stone and that getting him into that light and making him use it. But this is the first film where you get that godlike light from Richardson, where it's just very top lit. Yeah. It stands out, and there's just this real power to the lighting in this, and it feels quite theatrical, and it does pull you out a little bit and makes it quite fairy tale-ish when he wants it to. This is a dramatization, and that's what we're doing with the camera movements. That's what we're doing with the lighting. And I just think of Robert Richardson when I watch these films, and I watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or I watch Platoon, and the hell that shoot must have been. Mm-hmm. And it's just incredible. The patience this guy must have to just go, okay, we can do that. I think his work here is so complex, but he makes it look simple.
Yes.
And I really appreciate that. He doesn't overuse certain techniques. Mm-hmm. He seems to use every single technique the same amount of times. Yeah. Everything then balances out to 1 3.5 hour beautiful, balanced square. It's just really, really nicely done, really nicely shot and perfect. Did you know he's also second unit on Nightmare on Elm Street, which I just found out today?
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of this has elements of that now I think about it. So what he's learned in his career, he brings everything. Like Stone brought everything to the toolbox. He's bringing everything out and using everything, but using every single thing perfectly.
Yeah, I've never known anything like it.
Yeah.
Matt, your thoughts on Richardson's work here?
Yeah, I mean, second episode running, we're talking about Richardson. And this is one, I'll just look at everything Stone's asking him to do. How did Richardson basically just not die making this film through sheer exertion and stress? Like I said earlier, it's, and like what Westy's saying, it's colour, but with black and white flashbacks, but there's 2 types of black and white being used here. 90% of this film is people having conversations in rooms, but it's got to move and look like a thriller. Like, Robert, can you make this the most exciting 3.5 hours possible with 90% people talking in rooms? Probably not all of it, but I'll give it a go. And, I'll see if I can pull it off. Yeah. I mean, Richardson won the Oscar for this, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I'm amazed that his acceptance speech wasn't basically him getting up on the podium and just lying down. Like, I'm done.
Lie down.
Yeah.
I cannot do any
Oxygen
more.
mask on.
Yeah, exactly. Just spread eagle going, Oliver, I'm absolutely done. I mean, what he's pulled off here is magnificent. But there's two specific things that stand out for me. I mean, Wesley's talked about like the top lighting, because that to me, that's almost like a scene where someone's got a spotlight in the face, like like interrogation scenes.
Yeah.
But because it's not directly in the face, it's saying these people aren't guilty. And then the amount of times you see those shots where the light flares and reflects in Garrison's glasses, whether that's meant to signify him being blinded to the truth or to him seeing the light, I think it's up to you how you take it. So, but that's a brilliant little touch.
I was looked at and I was lots of people smoking in this.
Yes.
A lot of smoke.
Lots of reflections in Garrison's glasses. So is this just smoke and mirrors?
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly. Yeah.
You just think, yeah, that's wonderful.
Great.
And the top light as well highlights the head. Kennedy was shot in the head.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take this away and think about it. It all kind of ties in. It's
It
ridiculous.
does, yeah. Thematically, it's so dense thematically, just with the visuals. Just look at how complex the setup of the shots for each shot of this film. For the Dealey Plaza scenes alone, Richardson used 16mm news film cameras. The Zapruder film, which was 8mm, where he enhanced the image to 35mm, 16mm, Super 8 formats, which were then combined for the recreation of the assassination. 7 cameras were used, along with 14 film stocks.
I didn't know there were 14 film stocks.
Stone envisaged the visuals of the film to be as fractured as the story itself, which accounts for the multiple mediums used in flashbacks, within flashbacks, within flashbacks, within an enigma, within a mystery.
Yeah.
In Richardson, he shot the footage of Lee Harvey Oswald in 2 different ways, and this is brilliant. The first was on 35mm black and white on tripods and dollies. The second on 16mm black and white, which was with handheld cameras. The 35 represents the Warren Commission's version of events, and the 16 is Garrison's version of reality.
There you are. Just leave it there. See you later, guys. Thanks for listening. We've been all the right movies. You've been fantastic. Bye.
I love when a film does that.
Yeah.
There's something like that is just subliminal.
And then when you see it, though, it makes perfect sense.
does.
And you think, why didn't I think of that? Why doesn't everyone do that then?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
It's the foresight to do that
Yeah.
and the confidence to pull it off.
It's incredible.
Understanding that Garrison was a flawed individual, Richardson used different lighting to highlight all of Garrison's facets. For example, when shooting him at home in his family environment, he used a much softer lighting to bring on this like natural warmth. Richardson said, I saw his home as the most stable and least threatening element in Jim's life.
But then in contrast, in like the office scenes where Garrison's confrontational, Richardson used a hard-edged light with enhanced blues and shot at a higher level of contrast.
Yeah,
Right.
Look when he's talking to Clay Shaw as well, and there's this rain outside, and it's so shadowed in there. There's so much contrast ratio is so high. And then she goes around, turns all the lights off just to show that she's kind of switching off from him. I mean, how many lights are in that house? 400. Turn them off. I'm going to bed, Jim. Yeah, I'll see you in 3 hours, right? Okay.
See you when you get up.
Yeah.
This was Richardson's 7th collaboration of 11 with Oliver Stone. He said that Stone was at the top of his game filming JFK.
And he also said, when I met Oliver, I felt there was a magical air about him. As strong a mind and spirit as I'd encountered, I believed he could pull anything out of his magic hat. A magician he was, or a shaman.
Yeah, shaman.
Yeah.
Amazing. It shows his like mental state though, doesn't it? He's just so chill. Sounds like Yoda.
Yeah, he does. A magician he was.
A magician he was, a shaman. Amazing.
So an immaculate crew on JFK all singing off the same hymn sheet to create something quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
550-page hymn sheet.
Just to reiterate, it's 550.
The end.
The end is drawing near. Clay Shaw is arrested and Jim Garrison's investigation is rubbished on national television.
It is.
And it's all getting a little too much for him personally and professionally.
Yep.
Starting with a fireworks setting argument with Liz, his wife. First off, this is a great opportunity to talk about Sissy Spacek. We've discussed her quite a lot over the last month or so, and she's great in this role.
Yeah. Brilliant.
She doesn't get to do a lot. Generally, she's on the other end of Jim's arm, trying to keep him from disappearing down the JFK rabbit hole. She could be seen as just the nagging wife, but I think she's a lot more important than that. I think she symbolises a sense of groundedness about Garrison. He's not just a conspiracy nut who's out of control.
Yeah.
He's got a family that he's responsible for, which humanizes him, makes him relatable. And it's this scene in particular. Liz has just had about as much as she can stand, and she's reached her end with that crank call her daughter takes about the beauty pageant.
Yeah.
And Jim dismisses this as there are more important things going on in the world, like the news on the TV that Martin Luther King's being killed.
Yeah.
And this is Garrison's life distilled into one scene. On paper, of course, Martin Luther King's death is a billion times worse than a crank call. But Liz is on the other side of the fence to Jim. She's not caught up in the political machine, so what seems like a threat on her daughter is worse than any news outside the family.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jim's like, oh, this happens all the time at work.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just go to your mother's for the week. Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
That's
thanks.
fine. I'll change the locks. It's fine.
Yeah, no probs.
And I think this scene presents a great argument with two different points of view. Is it worth sacrificing the love and safety of your family for something much bigger, but on a less relatable scale?
Mm.
There's a great contradiction at the heart of this as well. Jim tells Liz there's nothing to be scared of, as the images of MLK are there for all to see on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There definitely is something to be scared of, but he's too far through the looking glass.
Yeah.
His eyes are open politically, but closed emotionally.
Yeah.
I suppose very small issue that I have here, and it kind of taps into what you said right at the top, Westy, about Costner. I think he dials it up a little bit here in the moments where his voice is cracking,
Yeah.
when he gets emotional with Liz. Just a little too heavy-handed. He's pushing it too far when his acting should be able to convey his emotions without making a fake crack in his voice.
Yeah. I think, again, that's why I come down to these, like, home life scenes where I'm thinking it seems a little bit overplayed. Like, the really serious stuff is beautifully played and not overdone at all, whereas this home life stuff, it's just too simple for the film. And
Yeah,
I think
I know
they
what
try
you
and bring it to the same level of emotion, but it's not there. You haven't got the facts there. It's just you can see what it is.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's just like, it's got to be there from like an emotional point of view.
Yeah. Oh, it has to be there. It definitely has to be there, but I just think, just maybe a little bit less of it.
I liken it to kind of similar scenes in Zodiac with Gyllenhaal's character and Chloe Sevigny's character and the kids.
Yeah. Which
You've
really
got to-
works because she's into it at the start and then you can see it unravel, whereas she's never into this. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't want to
That's
understand
right.
it.
Yeah, she doesn't want to understand it.
And then she doesn't get it, and I just feel a bit conflicted. Whereas if she was on board and then she started to unravel, and her character had a bit more depth, but she just plays it very linear, or she's told to play it very linear. I think
That's
the problem
that's
with
true.
it. Yeah.
But SpaceX as well. I mean, you can guarantee that she brought her A game to the role, and I'm pretty sure that this is Stone asking her to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going from Jim's family life falling apart a bit to his professional life falling apart a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Really important seeing this with Bill coming up because you need a bit of balance in the film. You need someone who will argue against Garrison. And I feel this is Stone covering his back to some degree. Like, yeah, the film's about what I believe, but I did give the counter argument its own scene and its own time to breathe. And it's such a stacked cast, as we've been saying, that sometimes you have to pick individual scenes to talk about actors.
Yes.
And I really want to talk about Michael Rooker here.
Brilliant.
He deserves a spotlight because he is great in this.
He is great.
What I really like about his performance is that, yes, Bill quits and he's forced into a corner by the feds to hand over his work, but I don't think he's ever seen as an out-and-out bad guy here or a traitor. He wants this case solved as much as anyone else. He's not sabotaging it. But he just can't go along with the theories that Jim is coming up with, which is an absolute fair point. And I think in this scene where it all blows up between them, Bill is the absolute voice of sanity in the room. Because, yes, there's this huge buildup of evidence, but all the same to jump to the conclusions that Jim does. You need someone to recognise what a flimsy case they have. Why would the FBI cover it up? How can a conspiracy work with so many people involved, which I think is the most sensible question that's asked. So many key witnesses are dead at this point. Nothing concrete is being put forward about Claire Shaw. When Bill says, Chief, you're going to lose, you think, yeah, he will actually, because there's nothing concrete here. And Rooker, he's magnificent in that moment when Garrison involves Lyndon Johnson in this, and he just can't believe what he's hearing. But you need that moment of anger from someone because it is an outrageous claim.
Yes, it is.
So I love Rooker in this moment. And the fallout continues because Garrison wants him back on the team, but Lou says he doesn't trust him and can't work them, so he quits as well. The whole thing is starting to wobble and fall apart just at the pivotal moment before the trial, which works really well dramatically, but it is all about that one dissenting voice going, hang on, you've got to think twice about this argument, Chief. Some of this doesn't hang together.
It's a great counter to what Stone believes. I mean, it's fleeting, but Liz has a similar point of view as well.
Yeah. It's fleeting, but it's memorable. You don't kind of dismiss this scene.
Mm-hmm.
You do go, actually, yeah, Bill's talking a lot of sense.
Yeah, without doubt, yeah. And that's the pendulum. You swing back to Bill, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And talking about Bill, I think that scene perfectly sets up what we'll get later on, and we'll get the Jerry Johnson show. But after that, at the airport, I think it's really important that we've had that scene previously with Bill, because then we are on the back foot, I think, a little bit. But going back to the Jerry Johnson show, I think this is just an incredible set design. It's just an incredible scene. It really reminds me of the Murray Franklin show from Joker. I think if you come back to this is very, very reminiscent of that. And I think it's the way they make a fool out of him. And I think this is Oliver Stone saying, this is what the press do. This is what the media do. They'll make a fool out of you, make you look stupid, make your theories look stupid. Even if you've got facts, we're not going to show them on the television. You know, you've got to keep it entertaining for the audience, and they don't want to hear the truth. And that's what I get from this. I think this is Stone saying, this was the start of, if you're a conspiracy theorist, then you're a nut. You know, you shouldn't be trusted because of the way you look at things is different from the status quo. And the amount of times that Garrison says a free thinking country, a free thinking world in the closing speech, I think that's what this scene's about, and that he's not allowed to say what he wants. He's not allowed any free speech. It doesn't exist, especially through channels and especially on the television and especially through the media. I think it's a wonderful scene that's wonderfully played out, and I think Garrison holds his own. But ultimately, he's not allowed to air it. He's not allowed to say the truth. And again, that's a really pivotal scene. And then when he gets to the airport and he sees Bill again, Bill does warn him that, you know, you're going to be killed. Don't know if that's part of it all or whether he's going to talk him out of it and Garrison's going to listen to him. But again, he said, I don't want any crackpot theories. There's no threat to Jim at any point until now.
Yeah.
And I think we need this point in the film to say that he is actually could be a target. He could be taken out at some point. And that great build of tension when he's in the bathroom and, you know, there's the shoes outside. It cuts to that, cuts back to him, cuts through the crack in the door, and he sees the police there, he sees them outside, and he just rushes out. We don't actually know what was going to happen to him. That is a conspiracy in itself. But it's the element of threat and the distrust that we now have in Bill. And that look, when he's reading the magazine, he just looks over to him.
Yeah.
And I honestly think Garrison still believes Bill isn't compliant in this.
Yeah.
He's not doing it. He's like, nah, I still don't believe it, even though, because from his point of view, he's heard something. He doesn't know that he's complacent with it. So it's really, really good. Again, really brilliantly played out. I mean, these two sections, and the section that Matt talked about, they're three short films, just one after the other.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
And those two scenes that you're talking about there, they were absent from the original theatrical cut of the film. They were only inserted in the director's cut. Jerry Johnson in the airport.
I think they're absolutely necessary.
They are.
Yeah.
And that's John Larroquette, who plays Jerry Johnson.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's great.
Who does the voiceover opening crawl narration for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, he does. Yep.
Magnificent.
Paid in a joint.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So Jim is now a public figure, making his position all the more dangerous.
Yep.
Having been betrayed by Bill, Jim is plunged deeper into despair as news comes through of Bobby Kennedy's assassination. Clay Shaw is finally brought to trial, and what follows is an incredible feat of filmmaking. And Matt's starting us off with the right ta-ta, but the wrong ho-ho. Isn't that right, Matt?
That's right. That's me all over. I mean, this whole trial section is just directed with such confidence because Dawn has this big, fat book of evidence and every single bit of it is laid out for all to see. And the thing is, it doesn't start well. The judge won't let the cop testify about Clay Shaw in front of the jury, which is ridiculous. There's that really weird guy on the stand who's been fingerprinting his daughter, who's being called as a key witness.
Yeah.
But everything else is Stone threading together everything he's shown us and telling us that everything he's shown us has been important. The hobos at the start, that's why they're important. The guy opening the umbrella, who we see for a few seconds, that's why he's important. And then you get to the two most important and interlinked pieces of evidence Garrison has, and even for recreation, that Zapruder footage of JFK never ceases to be shocking.
No,
it's so
horrific.
Savage and brutal, and it's the most quotable part of the film. Obviously, back into the left, back
zoom
into the left,
zoom,
zoom. And the reason you have that repetition is because this is Stone saying, look how simple this case is. That simple physical motion is all you need to know to question where is Oswald shooting from, because he's shooting from behind, but the head is going back into the left. That should be all the evidence anyone needs and should be open and shut. And just in case that doesn't convince you, you then have probably the most famous part of the film, which is certainly the most parodied, which is the demonstration of the magic bullet and how unlikely it is.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of things have been said about Stone misrepresenting exactly how they were sitting in that car, how he's interpreted certain movements or reactions by Connolly in the video. But all we can talk about is how Stone presents the evidence here.
Yes.
And the evidence is ridiculously convincing. The description of the path of a bullet has never been as compelling as this. For it to take that path to do all that damage to all the different people, to hang in midair, it just takes you back to that scene with Senator Long right at the start. That dog don't hunt.
Yeah.
And you completely agree when you see what he means. And it is seemingly piece after piece after piece of damning evidence laid out for everyone to see, particularly with that amazing model set he's had built in the
It's
plaza.
wonderful, isn't it? It's like Die
It's
Hard.
incredible. I'd love to play with that. That looks amazing.
Play with it.
Yeah, I would. Just move everyone about.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
Put people up on the grassy knoll.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's not to scale and I haven't painted it.
It's fine.
The exactness.
Yeah.
But you get to the end of this and you think, where did this all start? This all started outside Guy Bannister's office going, this location's a bit strange for Oswald to be hanging about in, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you've ended up here. And I think it's tribute to Stone's powers of persuasion and storytelling and the conviction in Costner's performance, because he's so fired up by this point that you think, how can anyone not think this is true?
Yeah.
And what makes me laugh is the bit that sounds the most ludicrous of all, the bit where you go, oh, come on, Oliver, that's a bit too much. The president's brain is missing. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was lost and they've never found it.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So if that's true,
Yeah,
then
exactly. If
everything
that's
could
true,
be.
that's the most ridiculous thing, and that's definitely true. Well, everything's true then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is Oliver Stone's day in the dock, isn't it?
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, I've watched this 3 times this week, right? I've seen Kennedy shot more times than I would really like to have seen.
Yeah. It's haunting, isn't it?
Incredible, that footage.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, how it even exists in such detail
Yeah.
feels like it's part of the setup
It does,
and
yeah.
the whole
it does.
thing.
Yeah. And the magic bullet theory is a popular one, but one which is also being debunked. The film argues that it hit the back of Kennedy's jacket and changed direction, exiting his throat.
Yeah, but it's been proved allegedly that his jacket was hitched up above his
Hitched up.
shoulders
Yeah.
a few seconds prior to the bullet hitting, making it more believable that it was on a natural trajectory.
Right.
And then if that's true, then it calls into question everything else in the argument. But then if you want to believe it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And who's telling you this truth?
Yeah, who's debunked it?
Yeah, exactly. And what are their motivations?
Yeah.
And where do they lean, left or right? And, everything.
Yeah.
And after this compelling evidence, Garrison goes into his account of Oswald's whereabouts at the time of the shooting.
Yeah.
And again, so convincing. Stone presenting his side of the argument so clearly and thrillingly. Garrison reinforcing the myriad of witnesses and potential suspects that are completely brushed under the carpet. Who could have provided a better explanation than this horse that they have on Oswald? The people dressed as hobos, the people imitating the Secret Service agents. And this is, for me, is the zenith of Oliver Stone's filmmaking talents as he reconstructs footage of Oswald's movements, footage which is seamlessly edited in with archival footage, a heavy mixture of everything that has elevated the film so far, editing, cinematography, acting, directing, writing. He even shows in alleged real time Oswald firing off 3 shots, then stashing the gun. And that real time thing is so powerful.
Yeah.
How could he have possibly squeezed off 3 shots with such accuracy in that time? And then make it back down to the second floor? Why did he stick around to get a Coke and then leave via a more obvious exit for the police?
Yeah. It's great, that voiceover.
It's incredible.
Coke. Oh, yeah.
And then footage takes us back to his home. Oswald plugging away at a cop, then at the Texas Theater before being plugged by Jack Ruby. And at each step, it becomes more and more apparent that Oswald is a patsy.
Yeah.
He's a setup to take the fall for some unknown sinister plot. And it's a really tragic tale accompanied with Williams' stirring music as he goes down in slow-mo in a maze of black and white footage.
Yeah.
And it all feels like documentary, all narrated by the trustworthy voice of Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
We're not watching a film. This is a documentary now.
Yeah.
Stone knows how to manipulate you to feel a certain way and getting you on his wavelength. A lot of it's bogus, of course, but it all feels real. And I think that's key. It's the feeling that Stone has grabbed a hold of you with. And now he's got you. So he could tell you anything and you believe it.
Yeah.
It's like the bit where you see Oswald like running down the stairs and then he says, but he's not out of breath. And you see him stop and compose himself. Just moments like that are so brilliantly done.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
With that music. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. We've got ourselves to the end point.
Yeah.
And Westy, the main man, is going to take us through the closing arguments.
Okay. Wow. Big praise. Thanks. Yeah. I mean, this is the moment that sticks with you. The fact that Costner remembered all of this,
Yeah.
the whole thing, in fact, and just rattled it off. I mean, I put an excerpt from the screenplay in the group. Like yesterday, the day before, I was like, imagine reading that and going, yeah, I can do that, no problem. It was unbelievable. I couldn't remember where I left my slippers yesterday. Never mind, like this huge list of these facts that he needs to get right, the names he needs to get right, the power that he needs to develop to deliver this. And it's amazing from Costner. This final argument, his closing statement, his absolute full stop. He's got nothing else to say after this. Nothing else is more important. And that's what he says to the jury. There's nothing more important than this. It's about your kids. It's about generations. It's going to be passed down. And it one day somebody's going to know the truth. Even if it's not today, one day this is absolutely going to happen. And it's that conviction from the character. It's everything we've been building up towards. It's everything we've wanted him to say. And he's just exploding in this ball of emotion. And it comes across from Costner. It just engulfs him. Just what he's saying. It's just so powerful. And it just moves them to tears. I don't even think it was supposed to. And the jury are just like, they've got stern faces. Some of them are smiling. Some of them have already kind of just ignored everything he said. If we were in that jury, it would just be like, stop. Yep, guilty.
Yeah.
Stop. That's enough, right? Yeah. Fine, because we've been on the journey with him. And it's him trying to relay this journey to people who don't understand the depth of it and don't understand what he's been through. And as somebody who's really trying to fix this problem and the problem that he addresses, it's not about Kennedy. It's not necessarily about who killed who. It's about freedom of speech. It's about not being lied to and not being treated like a piece of cattle that you can just shove off to war and let the rich people get the money for it. And all the poor kids are going to die in Vietnam. And this is what Oliver Stone is putting into these final closing arguments, is that America is a great country. And if it's not the great country that it thinks it is, it's a great country because it should be, and it should be loyal, and it should be trustworthy, and it should be doing everything to the letter. And the first people that should be buying that or benefiting from that are the citizens of that country, and they're not. They're the ones being lied to. They're the ones being manipulated. They're the ones going to war for the wealthy. They need the truth. That's the passion that you get from this closing statement. The jury doesn't buy it, but we do as an audience. And that's that final shot where he turns to the camera and he just says, it's up to you.
Yeah.
That's up to you now.
Yeah.
And the way that the camera in this scene just constantly sweeps, it constantly moves. It's such an elegant dance. It just steadily builds the emotion, but doesn't overdo it. It doesn't solve it. And it's up to us as an audience to walk away with that knowledge and with that emotion and with that power. And hopefully we've been shifted. And I think what Oliver Stone wants to do with this film, yes, it's historically inaccurate. Yes, it's lies upon lies. Yes, but they've lied to us, so we're lying back. And all he wants you to do is think. It's freedom of speech and freedom of thought. It's not about being a conspiracy theorist. It's about, looking at how you're being treated. And maybe, just think about it for a second, because you might just be getting fucked over.
Yeah.
And just think about that. That's the genius of it. And it's just, when I watched this, I know it was influenced by Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, right, which is very apparent in the way that this was done. But I think this was groundbreaking in the way this was shot, in the way this was delivered. And it has influenced every single courtroom drama since this film came out.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah,
Primal Fear, Few Good Men, Time to Kill, Sleepers, everything has been completely influenced by this. It's so well done. It could just be a courtroom drama, but the whole film is so much more. And this is just the cherry on the cake. That's how good this film is.
I think Stone, he's well known that he's very much anti-establishment, and that's reinforced with this film.
Yeah.
But I think he's just challenging the status quo and the facts accepted by the government. When we get to this final scene, the audience are the jury, like we are the jury.
We are the jury, yeah.
And he's presented such a compelling narrative that will swallow anything. There are wild swings of fact and fiction, conspiracy theories, things that are just plain lies, but it puts a seed of doubt in your mind. And I think ultimately that's what Stone wanted to do.
Yeah.
Make an incredible film, one that challenges the ideology of popular belief or belief laid down by the up-aboves, challenging the establishment, ruffling feathers, making people stand up and take notice.
Be a voice, be a thought, be individual, fight back.
I think he's saying if you're going to question my story, that's fine. But are you going to question their story with the same...
Absolutely.
Vitriol.
And if you're not, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the point.
My lies are just as valuable. My lies just make just as much more sense than theirs do, except I've entertained you.
Yeah.
In that moment, that amazing moment when Garrison chokes up during his closing arguments, that wasn't scripted. This was Costner genuinely fighting back the tears when the emotional weight of his monologue dawned on him.
Right, I wasn't sure about that, That's
incredible.
Amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing,
Not only has he learned it, remembered it, but he's feeling it at the same time. He's not just saying the words. He's actually knows what he's talking about. It's incredible.
And then he hasn't broken character as a result. He's just continued.
No, he just went on with it. Yeah, amazing stuff.
Oh, what a monologue. And it brings with it our third Patreon question. This one is from Simon Hughes. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Simon.
Hello, Simon.
Simon says, Costner's closing argument. Does any other monologue in content or delivery compare to this? Matt, what do you think?
Obviously, there's lots of amazing ones for a whole variety of reasons. Marlon Brando in the back of the cab on the waterfront, that's heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken talking about the watch in Pulp Fiction, that's hilarious.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Possess. It's crazy.
But this one, it's the sheer length of the monologue. There's a few references to Shakespeare due in the film, but this monologue is Shakespearean. It's like watching Branagh do To Be or Not to Be from Hamlet.
Right.
But it is also the importance of it. You know, there's nothing more important than arguing there's a conspiracy to murder the President of the United States. I think the only one that comes close is Quint talking about the Indianapolis and Jaws, which again is very different. But honestly, I think this one takes it.
You know, I'd say there are a number of elements in this film, and I have been talking about them, which are being close to unrivaled in movie history. And know that I'm not, and that's not hyperbole. I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fact.
And this scene with Costner is one of them. It's scintillating stuff. To have a film with this kind of dialogue is a golden goose.
Yeah.
Or the eye of the duck, as David Lynch would say.
Yes,
it's very much, yeah.
But it's not the first epic monologue in this film. Sutherland has got one earlier that's just as incredible.
Yeah, good point.
Probably both unrivaled, but outside of JFK, I thought of a few of them. I did think of Jaws and Pulp Fiction, but Robin Williams as Your Move Chief in Good Will Hunting is beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm going to throw in TLJ and his speech at the end of No Country, haunting stuff.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And I really, really love Do the Right Thing. And the sooner we talk about that, the better. But Radio Raheem's love and hate monologue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All in one take, breaking the fourth wall, scored by Public Enemy. It's amazing.
Yeah, unreal.
Love it.
Yeah.
What about you, Westy?
I had a few there. I definitely had Jaws and I had Good Will Hunting as well.
Yeah. Nice.
But I would say the Tears in Rain speech from Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. You got standing ovation, round of applause for that. Yeah. Any Given Sunday, another Oliver Stone film. Inches.
Yeah.
It's about inches.
It's about inches. That's incredible. Even if you've not seen the film, you just watch that and you are just absolutely motivated. It's an incredible, incredible script. Brilliant. But the one that stuck out with me as soon as I thought about it, and it's up there similar, is the Great Dictator, Chaplin's speech in that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Famous one.
It's a game changer, an absolute game changer, because it's straight to camera and absolute honesty. And it breaks down what cinema was and how it connects to its audience. And I think there was a lot of that gone into this, and I think that's where he's got a lot of influence from as well. And I think that's an incredible piece of work.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the question, Simon.
Yes, thank you, Simon.
Thanks, Simon.
And whether you prefer any of those or one of your own over Costner's closing arguments, there's no denying the power of the performance here. And although Garrison lost, it released a lot of information in the public domain and challenged the establishment. And I'm sure that exactly what Oliver Stone wanted for his film as well.
100% he did.
Definitely.
Reception and awards.
For a film of this magnitude, JFK went through production very swiftly. There were a couple of months prep, 3 months for the shoot, and only 3 months in the cutting room. Considering the task at hand, it's a minor miracle. Stone rushed it through without test screenings to avoid negative feedback, creating notes from the studio asking for reshoots.
I bet.
Stone's original cut of JFK ran at 4.5 hours. He said there was a lot of clear show footage that was removed, along with a fantasy sequence of Oswald looking at the camera, protesting his innocence. And I think that's what...
That'd be the monologue that you were talking about, Westy.
And the original cut came in at 3 hours, 8 minutes, despite it being in his contract to be 3 hours or under.
And the director's cut came out a few years later, clocking in at a whopping 3 hours and 25 minutes. So we mentioned the two scenes at the talk show and at the airport, which were reinserted, and the rest of the extra footage is additional moments of dialogue, which are just added to scenes already in the theatrical cut.
Right.
Well before that, months before the film actually came out, it faced a huge backlash.
Mm-hmm.
The first murmurings of discontent came from George Will of the Washington Post, based on a leaked copy of the first draft of the screenplay. He claimed that the movie was a 3-hour lie and said that Stone may be an intellectual sociopath.
True.
Is that a bad thing?
It's fine. He's admitted that, hasn't he?
Yeah. The Post later ran a story called On Set, Dallas in Wonderland, how Oliver Stone's version of Kennedy assassination exploits the edge of paranoia. Dallas in Wonderland, that's genius.
That is a brilliant title,
Love
to
that.
be fair.
Yeah.
Almost as good as Garrison Ford.
Self praise, no praise.
Obviously. Don't get it anywhere else, do it? Newsweek's cover story read why Oliver Stone's new movie can't be trusted, and chief exec of the MPAA, Jack Valenti, compared JFK to the Nazi propaganda film Triumph of the Will.
Wow.
Well, I can see where he's coming from.
So upon release, it was hailed by mainstream media as the most dangerous movie in America. I mean, that would just make me want to see it all the more, to be honest. That wouldn't put me off.
3 hours. Get it in there.
And it wasn't just media outlets who were outraged by what they saw as their irresponsibility of spreading and normalising misinformation. The government were incensed with their portrayal as secretive murderers involved in nefarious plots, including defectors in the mafia. And Stone was also targeted by historians only interested in facts. Just rude, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like-minded conspiracy theorists, and they were frustrated because they didn't have the kind of platform Stone did to spout their views.
Yeah.
Wow. Stone said, it was a hot potato from the get-go. Much hotter than I thought. I didn't realise it would hit the central nerve core of the establishment. That's what you were hoping
Yes,
for.
of course he
Come on,
did.
you did, Stolly.
But the establishment just looked like a bunch of kids who were like, when Brand steals the bike in the Goonies and just like, I want my bike, I want my bike. They just say that, I want a platform to spout my lies. It's not fair. And when it opened in December 1991, there was a muted audience response to JFK. In its opening week, it ended up at a disappointing fifth on the box office chart and was at the way to becoming a flop.
But in the weeks that followed, which included a $15 million ad campaign, JFK built up a huge amount of momentum and wound up earning a whopping $200 million at the box office, which made it the 6th highest grossing film of the year.
From rising from the ashes there.
Yeah.
For a 3-hour plus period piece this dense.
Yeah.
Dear me. But I suppose there's no such thing as bad press.
No, definitely.
Well, when you got 15 million to inject,
15 mil. I mean, we'd earn 200 mil if we were given the 15 mil marketing campaign.
Absolutely.
If we were the most dangerous pod in America,
I think we are.
everyone would be listening to us.
We definitely are, yeah.
We are with this episode.
Yes, we are, yeah. They're going to come after us.
After JFK came out, polls showed that 80% of the American public believed that there was a conspiracy behind JFK's death, which was up 10% from a similar poll conducted in the late 70s.
Right.
So it was always there,
It was always there.
It was always there.
It was polarizing with critics upon release, a lot focused on the spread of misinformation. The New York Times said, at what point does a studio exercise its leverage and blunt the highly charged message of a filmmaker like Oliver Stone?
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Never. Don't do it. It's not their job. Yeah.
However, there were critics who loved the film, but that was also highly controversial. Richard Corliss in Time magazine said, whatever one's suspicions about its use or abuse of the evidence, JFK is a knockout.
Yeah.
Part history book, part comic book, the movie rushes toward judgment for 3 breathless hours, lassoing facts and factoids by the thousands, then bundling them together into an incendiary device that would frag any viewer's complacency.
Yep.
And what of our man Ebert, fellas, out of 4?
He gave it full, didn't he? Because he got some shit for it, I think.
Yeah, I think he's all in on this. He'd love it. He's given it 4.
Yeah. Yes. 4 of the best. 4 out of 4. He said, Oliver Stone was born to make this movie. He's a filmmaker of feverish energy and limitless technical skill, able to assemble a bewildering array of facts and fancies and compose them into a film without getting bogged down.
Yeah.
Even the critics suffered a backlash to the film as well, though. The Washingtonian movie critic Pat Dowell loved the film, but had her mini review of it rejected because of the positivity she portrayed. She resigned in protest.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And as you said, Westy, Ebert later told a story about TV legend Walter Cronkite giving him a dressing down because of the positive review the film picked up.
Madness.
Unbelievable.
Touched a nerve.
Yeah, something's gone very, very right.
At the Oscars, it was a big night for Silence of the Lambs, obviously. So
Yeah.
JFK faced stiff competition in the categories it was nominated for, which were Best Picture, Director, Adapted Screenplay, Supporting Actor, Tommy Lee Jones, Score, and Sound. It did, however, pick up 2 awards that we've already mentioned, Best Editing, Best Cinematography.
I mean, those got to be 2 of the most deserved awards ever.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think so,
Editing and shooting this.
Yeah.
Forget
Incredible.
about
I love the way you said Tommy Lee Jones there. You could have said Clay Bertrand.
Clay Bertrand.
Best support, Tommy Lee Jones.
It also got similar recognition at the Golden Globes, where it was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Best Actor, Kevin Costner, and Best Screenplay.
Do that on every single episode from now on.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oliver Stone won Best Director at the Golden Globes, and in his acceptance speech, he said, "A terrible lie was told to us 28 years ago. I hope that this film can be the first step in righting that wrong by telling around 32 other lies."
Yes.
but better lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can wrong that wrong.
Yeah. It received a similar number of nominations at the BAFTAs and won for Best Editing and Best Sound as well.
Yeah.
So a response rarely seen going beyond the confines of the world of cinema and into public consciousness. The fact that it was Oliver Stone's most successful film at the box office is almost unfathomable. With some very positive reviews and awards recognition thrown in for good measure, an unexpected success story.
Yeah, massively.
Very much.
Sequels and influence.
There are no sequels to JFK as such. There were a number of publications and documentaries in the wake of the film. Oliver Stone himself directed 2 key documentaries on the subject. JFK Revisited Through the Looking Glass, a 2-hour documentary from 2021, reinforces theories introduced in the film, backed up by new interviews and evidence. None of which is that credible.
Laser beam.
Laser beam. And he also directed JFK Destiny Betrayed, a 4-part documentary released around the same time that goes into detail about the circumstances and political events leading up to the assassination and in the aftermath. That one is well worth a watch.
Okay.
But what of the film's legacy and influence? Westy, where have you seen that in the last 30-odd years?
Well, I mean, I've said when we're talking about the closing speech there, I mean, it's every courtroom drama, Time to Kill, Few Good Men, Sleepers. That's all evident in there. But I think if you're looking at something that's going to maybe address some kind of truth that was swept away, I think Zero Dark 30 owes a lot to this. I think the opening of Zero Dark 30 is very, very similar. It's long, it's unabashed, it's very confident. It's very much like Bigelow's version of doing Oliver Stone, to be honest. And I think that's one that's been quite forgotten about, and I think that's going to come back around.
It is a
people
great
are going to really appreciate that, because I think it's just a wonderful piece of work. Other ones that were very similar, and ones that remind me very much so, In the Line of Fire, I think wouldn't exist if it wasn't for this. Malcolm X came out the year after.
Incredible.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. Even films like Milk, I think has a lot to do with JFK. Valkyrie has a lot to do with that kind of vibe. And a film that I saw that's not particularly amazing, but it is good and it is interesting. And I think it took loads from this film. It came out in 2008 called Vantage Point. Have you seen that?
I have, with what's Matthew Fox?
Matthew Fox and Forrest Whitaker.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, you see, something happens, but then you see it from people's different points of views, and it keeps replaying over the same.
Yeah, it's ringing a bell.
Which it's not incredible, but I just think without that sequence from the shooting of JFK, it's kind of taken that and ran with it.
My memory, it almost feels as though it's identical from what my memory of that film is.
yeah, it's probably a different thing that happens or whatever. I'm not going to spoil it for people. I mean, I'm not going to spoil Vantage Point. Like, who gives a being really sheepish about Vantage Point, I spoil everything else. But yeah, watch that if you want. I'm not bothered. And then 11/22/63, Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
I think I love that book, and the
it's such a good
series.
book.
The series is brilliant.
Right.
Watch that as well. So that was really good. But I think just a different kind of take on that. Guy goes back in time and can prevent the murder. Stephen King at his best for me. It's wonderful stuff. Well, his recent best anyway. It's fantastic.
Okay. And what about you, Matt? Legacy and influence?
Influence, a big one on TV. The X-Files, I think.
Without doubt.
Chris Carter, creator of the X-Files, he obviously watched this and thought, what if they were talking about aliens, though? Instead of an assassination.
What if it was 550 pages?
Yeah, exactly. And everyone's an episode. I mean, this is definitely one of Fox Mulder's favourite films.
Yeah, it definitely is.
In terms of cinema, I'd be fascinated to hear Finch's thoughts on this, because this feels like it's a clear influence on Zodiac, going down the rabbit hole of conspiracies, identifying people as being involved, laying out the evidence bit by bit by bit in a really compelling manner. And then Legacy. I look at Oliver Stone himself and I think, if you look at the rest of his filmography after this, it feels like this took so much out of him. I don't think he ever quite recovered. I mean, there's flashes of greatness after this. Any Given Sunday, Nixon's Worth a Watch.
Yes.
Natural Born Killers is certainly interesting, but nothing on the level of what he achieved here.
Or before that, either.
Yeah.
Like Platoon, Wall Street, Born the 4th of July. Those are all incredible films. I don't think he hit those milestones after this.
There's a great sequence in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, which when he talks about when he's, when America's riding the crest of a wave and it hits a cliff and you can see where the high water mark was and then it washes back down. Like all of these films leading up to this, it hits the cliff and then it washes back down. To me, JFK is his high water mark.
Without doubt.
He's made the ultimate Oliver Stone film.
Yeah.
So where else could he go? And that's its legacy for me. It's the ultimate Oliver Stone film.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you fellas have said. Zodiac, for certain, the way that film presents its evidence owes a lot to JFK. Not as in your face as JFK, of course, but also not forgetting what you said in The Line of Fire. Dick Donner's conspiracy theory. There are loads of examples.
Yeah, conspiracy theory, yeah. Mel Gibson actually being in that one.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It's been parodied in the likes of Seinfeld. It was solely responsible for a resurgence in huge public interest in the case, bringing it back into public consciousness. Countless documentaries and books have been made. As a result, Stone's film made the subject a bankable piece of IP, and I don't think that Stone could have ever predicted the intensity of the interest in the film and subject, but I'm certain he was thrilled in one way with the scrutiny as it challenged the governmental position on the assassination, something that I believe was his ultimate goal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely was.
When the scrutiny of the film was at fever pitch, Warner spearheaded a campaign to free the files, urging Congress to release classified files on the assassination, which weren't planned to be made publicly available until 2029. And this was done to take away a slight focus from the film.
And it ultimately led to the passing of the John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act. And this led to the release of millions of previously classified documents held on the assassination, either directly or indirectly. And Stone asserted that the material was under lock and key because there was something to hide.
I mean, you talk about legacy and influence.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, just a film to do that.
Yeah. It was also agreed that all the files will be declassified by 2017, something which Trump delayed by 3 years due to national security campaigns.
Yeah.
Biden got the ball rolling again, and in March 2025, Trump ordered the declassification of tens of thousands of pages, most of which revealed very little, although Trump did wade in. He said that he'd always agreed that Oswald shot JFK. But was he helped? I guess we all want to know that.
Thanks, Donald.
Yeah.
Great insight.
Useful as usual.
And, that's the power of cinema. This is possibly the single most famous moment in 20th century history, and Oliver Stone has embedded it in public consciousness even further with this film.
Yeah.
What a legacy.
It's unbelievable.
All the Right Movies ranking.
The closing arguments before the final verdict is delivered. Matt, summary and score for JFK. What do you got?
He's got a 16-minute monologue. That's what he's got.
Breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Get sat on that park bench, boys, and take some notes. You won't believe he was behind all this.
It's John, isn't it?
It was John behind it all. Yeah.
Of course it is. The mastermind.
It's just an absolute masterpiece. 3.5 hours has never gone by so quickly.
Agreed.
And somehow we've covered it all. I really feel like we've really got to the guts of this film.
Yeah.
The cast is immaculate. The filmmaking is of such a high standard throughout. And this is a film that really demonstrates to me, if people say, well, isn't cinematography just making things look nice and pretty? No, it's not. It's about telling the story. The cinematography tells a story. The editing tells a story. It's not just about putting things in order. And the sheer guts from Stone to make this film, knowing he was going to get a very public battering from all corners for a whole variety of reasons. Yes, it's given rise to an unfortunate amount of conspiracy nut jobs. And yes, you can rightly debate Stone playing fast and loose with historical accuracy. But as I said at the very start, I think that's missing the point to a large degree. I'd agree that, you know, the kind of domestic scenes with the Lays are a little below par, but that's not enough of a flaw for me to take that into account. It grips you from first frame to the last. It is relentless in its pace. It leaves you dying to know more and to dive back into it as soon as it's finished. It's not just a 10. It's in my top 10 of all time. It's just a staggering, remarkable film.
Ooh,
Oof.
there it is.
Beautiful.
Have that.
Have that.
Wow, impassioned. I love it, Matt.
Got to be for this one.
What about you, Westy?
Again, I mean, I'm not going to wax lyrical about it and take ages because I think we've spoke about it enough. I mean, I think we've all kind of sung its praises all the way through the podcast, to be honest. I think it's just an incredible piece of work. It's very Oliver Stone. I think it's to see an artist who has such a vision and has such a belief and put that on screen with such technical proficiency is just incredible and blows me away. I think it's cinema in its most revealing and ambitious form. It shows the power of the medium through techniques alone, and you can learn everything about filmmaking from any single scene in this film.
Yeah.
For that reason, it's important. Yes, it might be lies, but it's lies on top of lies. Throw some shit, I'm going to throw it straight back, and there's nobody better to throw shit at the establishment than Oliver Stone. This, to me, is an easy 10.
Love that. Love that.
Yes.
Okay, right. Well, the runtime, it's a daunting prospect, of course.
It's an 8.
But if that has put you off until now, like it often would for me, just please watch without prejudice because you'll be richly rewarded.
Yeah.
I've been saying this all episode now, but there are elements in this film that are in the argument for the best ever in movie history. And I really stand by that. Direction, cinematography, editing, all first rate. The X scene, one of the best ever.
Yeah.
As is the ensemble cast. The furore that this film stirred up and the cultural impact it left behind is pretty much unrivaled. If you're after a historical document of the truth, you're looking in the wrong place.
Watch a documentary.
But even that won't give you the truth that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Closer to this, maybe.
Yeah. I think you could argue that any text or artistic work on this story could never offer the actual truth.
No.
This is not a documentary, but it's a dizzying version of Oliver Stone's side of the argument, executed by a movie director, one of the greatest at the height of his powers. And it's one of those glorious moments that I've had over the last 5 years. It's happened a few times where I come out of doing a podcast on a film that's raced up my charts and instantly become one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It is absolutely one of the greatest films ever made. It's everything I could have ever asked for in a film. It's without reservation a 10.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
Beautiful.
All of us passionate.
Oh, nice choice, Matt. Don't ever do it again.
Das Boot, that's off the table. That's not getting put forward.
Once upon a time in America. No.
Das Boot, never-ending story in there.
No. Toy Story, 80 minutes long? Yes, please.
Toy Story next. Let's do that.
Oh, so big scores so far.
Yeah.
But what did our Patreon supporters rate JFK out of 10? I'll keep the anticipation going a little longer while I pick out some mini reviews.
Okay.
Stuart McDean said, this has to be the best research film ever made. The attention to detail, performances, and final courtroom scene are superb. The best compliment I can give it is that if you are an anti-conspiracy theorist or even sat on the fence around the JFK assassination, this film will certainly give you second thoughts. Hugely rewatchable. It's a 10.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
Andrea Barker Syed said, 10 for me. An A-list cast, amazing cinematography, and visually stunning. For any fans of the Kennedy family, this film is a must. Yes, indeed, Andrea. And Warren Darr gave a glowing review. He said, an Oliver Stone classic, great storytelling, amazing acting, and visually fulfilled. Robert Richardson won the Oscar for a reason.
Yeah.
His score, though, a conservative 8 out of 10.
Oh,
Wow, really?
okay.
He's
right.
mistyped that, hasn't he? He hasn't got a 1 and a 0 on his keyboard, surely.
Let us know what took away 2 points for you, Warren.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, please do.
So with all the scores combined, JFK averaged, what do you think on Patreon, fellas?
I'm going to safely say a 9.
Yeah, I'll go 9 then. That 8's made me doubt it.
Yeah, well, you'd be very right. It was a very positive 9.
Right, nice.
Okay.
I was hoping for higher. I can see why people maybe not give it full marks for one reason or another.
Yeah, I can see why, yeah.
Join us again on All the Right Movies in a break from tradition. Next Friday, we'll be opening our mailbag and answering questions from our Patreon supporters. A nice breezy Q&A episode should be a hell of a good time.
It'll be a great time.
Oh, nice and easy. Thank God.
Yeah.
No research.
Need to stretch out after doing this.
Yeah.
That will be the 4 of us on that show. And then 2 weeks after that, the 2 fellas here will be back with John to go to infinity and beyond as they deep dive into Toy Story. Matt, try to contain yourself.
Yeah.
Not even my pick.
Oh, was it not? Was it
No,
John's?
it was John's, yeah.
John put that ball up.
Wow.
But like, say, after JFK, an 80-minute cartoon. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you
exactly.
need that palate cleanser.
It's like a nice warm bath.
Very
Well, nice, lovely. Right? We'll be podcasting, we'll be falling with style.
Yes, we will.
Also, live today is a brand new episode of our Patreon exclusive movie review show, The Watch List. You're missing out if you aren't a Patreon supporter, so sign up for that and every single podcast we've ever created, as we are now into the 200s.
Oof.
Bloody hell.
That is patreon.com/all the right movies.
Yeah.
And for those that have, thank you so much. But if you haven't, please leave us a positive rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, wherever you listen to podcasts. Doesn't matter as long as it's a positive rating. A quick click and everyone's happy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's the way to do it.
In between all of our podcasts, we're active on social media all the time. On X, we are at ATRightMovies, where our making of movie threads are a massive hit. Just like our podcast, they tell the making of story from classic and hit films. And just like our podcast, all the behind-the-scenes stories comes from cast and crew or verified by at least 3 sources. So have a read if you don't already. They are gold dust.
Yeah, definitely.
Unlike X in this film. Definitely true.
Yeah, definitely true. But just as engaging.
Yes, yeah, very much, yeah. On Instagram and Threads, we are at all_the_right_movies. Our threads are also on there, and they're on Blue Sky, where we are at alltherightmovies.com. On TikTok, search All the Right Movies. We also have a Facebook group where there's some wonderful people and some wonderful movie chats.
Yeah.
So please join that if you don't already.
Definitely.
And we're on YouTube. Watch our videos if you can, and a follow and a like wouldn't go amiss. Be very much appreciated.
Not.
That would
be all
that'd
right.
be great. Any engagement is always welcome, guys.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely.
And our website is alltherightmovies.com, and that is a wrap, everybody.
It is.
We better head off before the government jumps all over our head and goes cock-a-doodle-doo. Come back next week for the Q&A show. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
Adios.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.